Well, go on then, speak. What's going on? It's not going well.
Oh, I'm an
Uh,
idiot. Okay, let's start that again. Hello, everybody. It's Friday night, and this is the Tartar Zone, and you know what that means. It's Friday night contact, and my washing machine would have to go on a spin as we're starting. And sorry, I did actually have myself on mute because I am a bit of an idiot. But we've got lots to talk about, and we've got Lee joining me. I don't know about Chris actually because he still hasn't responded back to me. So I'm assuming because he did say a couple of weeks ago that his roster was a bit all over the place. So we'll see if we get a message off him. But we're here to talk about um, the Late Late Show. James Corden has ended after 8 years. We'll just briefly talk about that. There's Dodgeball sequel in the works, and Vince Vaughn is set to return. I mean, that movie is a classic, but we will get into it. But this is the shocker. An R-rated version of Christopher Robin, a live-action animated series, is in the works. And then there's a thing called Merry Little Batman is coming to Amazon Prime. It's a movie and will release alongside a spin-off series. Steven Spielberg has watched Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny, and apparently he has loved it. And I'll give you the full quote of what he said a little bit later on. And we had another trailer for The Flash and Aquaman 2. And someone at DC thought it was a great idea to get Amber Heard to narrate the Aquaman 2 trailer. And of course, if Chris does join us, as we didn't get an opportunity to get the guys to talk about Star Trek Picard's finale, we will talk a little bit about that as well. So, want to welcome Lee along. Obviously, I think we should start off with the James Corden nonsense. So, America has finally booted him out after 8 years, and apparently he's coming back to the UK. And there's
oh,
talks of getting
God.
to go in the UK.
Yeah.
I don't want to see this guy. My personal opinion is I don't want to see this guy on TV anymore. Number one, I think he's a sellout anyway. And number two, when I actually look back at all the stuff that I watched of his, he's not actually that funny. What's your opinion on James Corden?
I think he's a shit. I don't think he's funny. I don't think he's got any talent. I am absolutely clueless as to how that guy
Got a
got
career?
anywhere. I mean, the guy's a toady, a complete you bit a complete toady. He's a brown noser. I don't know what kind of compromising photographs of producers or whatever he's got. I just don't understand. There is no way in hell that guy made a career for himself on talent or looks. Let's put it that way. No idea. It's a
Well,
complete bafflement.
yeah, I mean, Gavin and Stacey, don't get me wrong. I mean, it's a decent show, but I recently rewatched it again, and it doesn't hold up. It's
Oh, I
actually
couldn't
quite.
watch it. It's too depressing.
Yeah, you're right. It actually is. And back then we all thought it
Like
was
the Royal
funny.
Family, I couldn't watch that either. Too depressing. It's like Tenko set in the north.
Yeah, yeah, but apparently now the UK, it's probably Sky One because he's done a lot with Sky One. But apparently now the rumor is that now that he's left the Late Late Show over in America and he's done that for 8 years, and someone over in the UK thinks he's done a good job,
Well,
and
no,
now
because
apparently.
I mean, when it was over there, we've seen this with talk shows in general because they've towed the line. They've done the pro-vax thing, the pro-lockdown thing, the pro whatever, and it's so clearly mandated to be propaganda for whatever
Well,
the
remember his
current
big
thing.
mad speech he made? Do you remember he came on one of his shows and he made a big mad speech?
I'm
What
sure
was
he
it? It
did.
was something about, I think it was the vaccine speech he was making, telling everybody to go and get the vaccine and stuff like that. I mean, a lot of these celebrities and a lot of these talk show hosts, in my opinion, should be ashamed of themselves. They push something that they didn't know anything about either. That's the shocking thing about
Well, they just become propaganda mouthpieces. Like, whatever your views are on those things, I don't need some bloody celebrity dictating to me what I should do or not do to my body, especially when coming from a fat fuck like that. I'm sorry, but I just find that really in bad taste. I don't need some overpaid, mindless celebrity who has no gift of the gab, no personality, no nothing, trying to use that kind of star power, whatever that is, to convince me to do anything. I don't care what it is. Quite honestly, I just find it really quite disgusting. I don't need that. I don't want that. And who is he to give me health advice? I'm sorry. Like, have you seen yourself in the mirror? No. Probably because he's had them all taken down. But no, I just think, you know, these people have sunk that format. People don't want to watch someone like that. They want to watch someone glamorous and funny, you know, or entertaining, you know, something with a bit more pizzazz, you know, not that freak. I just think it's just sad, you know, that you celebrate mediocrity in this day and age. That someone like that, I don't know if it's body positivity or whatever that got him the job. I don't know. It certainly wasn't talent. I just think that clearly his ratings plummeted through the floor. That's why he's coming back. I don't even know how he lasted 8 years.
Well, in fairness, right, I remember there's always been stories around the bubble of celebrity that he's a bit of an ass, right? That's just putting him mildly.
I've never heard a good story about him.
Yeah, and I think we should have all realised when Patrick Stewart, have you ever seen that little clip where he's at an award show and Patrick Stewart literally berates him in front of everybody and tells him that he's being rude and stuff like that. And then we've heard the stories where he's in restaurants and he's very demanding. Like, I don't know. See, this is the problem with him, right? Fame came to him very fast and he got a bit of an ego.
How?
I don't know. I actually agree with you. I don't know.
Was it his good looks? Was it his charm? Was it his sense of humor? I mean, there's none of that. None. Nothing. There's nothing about that guy that screams, hi, I'm a big star. No. I wouldn't even want to sit next to him on the bus, quite honestly. I don't understand. Can someone in the chat please explain how this gimp of a creature in a human face mask like got on TV and dominated the American, no, I don't say dominated the American TV rating. I don't think he did very well. I think he did for a bit.
Well, he did in the early years, yeah. He actually did.
I guess it's probably down to the guest that they got on.
Because he had the karaoke thing. Do you remember the karaoke thing as well, where he pretended to drive? I think where it went all wrong for him was there was rumblings about his behaviour, Lee. But then I think the thing that sealed his fate was when they were doing this, you know, when he was getting celebrities in the Jeep to sing the karaoke thing. And it turned out that he actually wasn't really driving the car. He was being told. He was being told along. There's actually footage. He was being told along. He wasn't actually really driving the car while they were singing. Now, in fairness, when you kind of look at it,
I wouldn't trust him to open my mail, let alone drive a car and talk at the same time. Get out of here. No, thank you. Look, it's only because he got Madonna. I really don't. I think, because he's English, he's got that funny accent. That's why they liked him. But I think it took them a while to realize, actually, this guy's got absolutely no pull, no personality, no draw whatsoever. I had no idea. None. I to this day, it remains a complete mystery. He is the Bermuda Triangle of talent.
Yeah. We got a few comments in relation to this. Gavin and Stacey is awful, says Peter Harrington, and him and his mate did a serious, not funny to me.
Remember that lesbian vampire film that he did?
Yeah, that someone mentioned that in the chat there as well. Yeah,
dreadful.
It just shows that America has lower tastes in entertainment than the UK. How they
Yeah, you want a
put
bit
up
of
with him for
glitter.
8 years is beyond me. Yeah, but he did get his start here. He did get his start in the UK on this side of the pond. So, in
By appearing in
fairness,
depressing things, you know.
whoever gave him his start is responsible for putting James Corden on television. The Walked Eyebrow says, I remember watching James Corden in Doctor Who and a show called The Wrong Man's, and I thought he was somewhat funny, but he's
Yeah, but you had
definitely
a couple
very
of
average in
temazepams, so
personality.
you're probably like anything would have been funny, you know.
Yeah.
Probably.
These celebrities don't think, they think of their careers and how they are perceived. That's true, but you shouldn't be going along with, especially if you don't know what you're talking about. See, this is the thing I don't like about celebrities. They shouldn't be talking about medical stuff like the vaccines and all of this, and talking
Who is
about,
he to give
as you've seen
advice?
them.
Have you seen the state of him? Please.
Anyway, he was god awful in Lesbian Vampire Killers. A total crock, says JWC reviews.
Being generous.
Patrick tore him a new one. He did. If you haven't seen that, that's delightful. He doesn't know.
I mean, look. Yeah, I mean, he's a bit of an idiot as well, but he's a classy idiot. You got to give him. He's got something about him. He's got a bit of class, got a bit of status. He's an old lovey. He's been around the block. He's a great actor. And James Corden is a blob non-entity, and he was very rude. He was rude.
He was.
I really enjoyed watching him. You know, make himself look even worse. Quite honestly, that's the only time I really enjoyed anything with him in it, and that was a car crash.
He's a talented writer and a showman, but he is
he is not.
I agree. And Holden says he loved Gavin and Stacey. Well, it's all about different opinions. Noel, hold on. What's this one? Noel, are you all ready for the King's coronation next Saturday? Well, here's the thing. Cheryl wants to witness history. So it's going to be on in this house, whether I like it or not. So I am going to get to see some of the coronation. But in fairness, it is history. I mean, I wasn't around when Queen Elizabeth II was, when her coronation came around. So it will be fascinating. You know, I see, you know, a lot of anti-English rhetoric, anti-UK rhetoric going around from actually people from the UK, which I find kind of mind-boggling. The hashtag not my king is trending.
Have you seen the you know who those lot, them lot, you know, the kind side of the you know what fandom?
Oh,
the,
yes.
The shooty Gatwa is going to appear there, and they're losing their mind.
They lost their minds. They're also losing their minds over the new Doctor Who magazine cover, because it's the coronation cover. It's the episode where Rose and David Tennant went back to the Queen's coronation, and they've used that cover so where she's wearing the gear and they're on the bike, and they're literally giving out because Jodie Whittaker isn't on the cover because David Tennant is. And some of them have even said that Doctor Who magazine is dead now, and that the magazine should be renamed Dr. Whittaker magazine. So the magazine was released, 1978, 9, something like that, to 2023. That's what they're putting up, RIP, and 2023 dash and continues on, and then it says Dr. Whittaker magazine. They're literally sad little individuals. Listen, David Tennant is the doctor for the 60th. That's why he's on the cover, right? That's why he's on the cover. If you can't get that through our heads, well, then that's not our problem, right? The bottom line is this, and I'll just mention this because I mentioned this today, right? So why was the magazine struggling for the last 5 years, right? When Jodie Whittaker was on the cover, right?
She was fucking
where you weren't buying the magazine. See, this is the thing. Lee and other people are right. I've seen other people say this as well, and we've been saying this for years. You aren't buying the magazine, though. That's the thing. You were going after fans when they were giving out about Jody being on the magazine because sales were going down, but you weren't buying the magazine yourselves. And you are the same people now that are giving out. You won't even buy this magazine. So what are you even moaning for? Just get over the fact that your precious little doctor is gone and the era wasn't successful. You need to get over it now.
It's almost like they're not real fans, isn't it?
They're not real fans. They're not. And then someone says,
it's almost like they don't care about Doctor Who.
You don't say that they're not real fans. Someone said that to me, but they're not real fans. They're not. They don't buy the merch. They don't buy the magazines, right? They don't go to conventions, right? They don't. You know what I mean? It's ridiculous. You need to get over it. He's the doctor, whether you like it or not. That's what he's told us, right? David Tennant is the doctor, whether you like it or not. End of story. So get over it now.
Hashtag not my doctor. Is that where we're at now?
Oh man, it'd be funny, wouldn't it? It would. It'd be very ironic as well. Before we move on to the next topic, because the next topic is a bit of an eye opener. And I'm not going to get into the Jinx Monsoon stuff on here, but I did do a stream on Twitter, which has gotten over 400 views now. And I actually had some of me haters. It's actually funny, Lee, right? So I did that Twitter stream the other day, the one that I tried to get you on. And what you call it, Billy Who showed up, right? And I got a screenshot. He says that he doesn't pay attention to me channel. He says he doesn't pay attention to what, and there he was watching to what I had to say about
Hello,
Jinx.
Billy. Hello.
So just in case you're watching, Billy, hi.
Oh, bless him.
Anyway, we got JWC reviews in the chat. We got Nicholas Horton in the chat. We got the Walked Eyebrow in the chat. Peter Harrington. We got Garbage. We got Zombie Box reviews. We got Brisk. Who else have we got?
Got my favourite commie Mark. Hello.
Yeah. We got Holton also in the chat as well. And as Lee said there, we got commie Mark, which is great name. Brisk as well. And we got Lord Thought in the chat as well. So welcome. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Right, let's get into this next topic. I'm getting
Atomic.
Right, but now this next topic, I have to throw this up on screen though, so you can see it to believe it. All the links to all the topics that we're talking about are in the link description. Sometimes, as you know, I don't like throwing stuff on the screen because for some weird reason, my channel always gets targeted. But they're in the link description. So an R8, hold on, I just want to make sure I'm not cracking all over the place here now. Wait. Did I share it? There we go. Right. So we'll make this big screen. Because you're not going to be, this is getting out of hand now. An R-rated live action animated Christopher Robin series is in the works. The series follows Christopher Robin navigating his quarter-life crisis with his animals who live beyond a drug-induced portal outside his derelict apartment complex. And the article is from Variety. But an R-rated Christopher Robin live-action animated movie involving drugs. Lee.
Yeah, I think we're at the point of critical mass. This is subversion again. It's so tired and cliche. Can we just not? I mean, yeah, fine. Okay, look, it's run out of copyright. It's now in the public domain. Does this mean now we have to be inundated with like third, fourth rate bloody terrible fanfic, which isn't really fanfic?
What was the other one? Winnie the Pooh. Didn't they recently do a horror version of Winnie the Pooh? I mean, what? And Bambi. They're doing a horror version of Bambi as well. That hasn't been released yet. I mean, what is their obsession, Lee, with doing animation, turning them into these gory R-rated horrors? I mean, is there an appeal for them, or is this just pure laziness?
It's so edgy. Oh yeah, it's really because they can. It's like, why do you do mountaineering? Because it's there. You know, I mean, it's that's it. Because they can make a quick buck from a name that is now in public domain. You'll see a lot of this the more this goes on, and because it's subversive, or in their minds it's subversive. To us, it's just a load of boring crap, really. But yeah, I mean, this is going to happen more and more and more as things become public domain, because we've reached that point where they can't keep pushing the trademarks of these characters anymore, because you can only, it's like the Beatles, they changed the laws on music copyright because of the Beatles.
Because the Jacko, wasn't it because Jacko bought out all their bleeding all their bleeding collection?
No, that wasn't anything to do with that. I mean,
wasn't it?
No, but I mean, after a certain number of years, it falls into the public domain. But I think it was after the death of whatever, I can't remember. But the law changed anyway, only because of the Beatles, because there was still money to be made. There's still money to be made from the Beatles, so that's why. But they can only do that, I think, so many times or so long, and then eventually it will become public domain. That's just the way it works. So yeah, I mean, the fact that they're doing this, what degenerate shit can we do with previously Disney owned characters, even though this predates Disney. I mean, Winnie the Pooh was around long before Disney picked it up. Let's do something really edgy and adult with it, and depressing and depraved and drug addled and sex addled or whatever. It's because people in their 20s and 30s think it's really funny and edgy and cool, and it's just it's been done to death with other things. But because it's synonymous with Disney, there are a lot of people who want to take advantage of that and stick it to Disney, which, look, let's be honest, we all feel that way at the moment about Disney. But think about the author who wrote this. It was an innocent children's book.
Yeah,
originally.
Exactly.
And it's kind of like
a perversion.
It is. It's a version. Look, it's funny maybe the first couple of times.
I mean, the Winnie the Pooh one I haven't seen, but I heard it's actually supposed to be actually decent. But
I heard it's dreadful.
You've heard it's dreadful.
I haven't watched it. I was going to watch it.
Yeah.
Then I kind of looked at the reviews. Like, I don't really want.
It's not the type of movie. Like, I love horrors, as you know, but this wouldn't be me type of horror. This kind of horror that they're trying to do, this kind of new genre, if you want to call it that. No, I'm not into that. It's like our whole childhood. Oh, what can we do now to make it even more? Oh, let's turn everything into a horror. I mean, I don't like the idea of this. Of course, like most people in the UK, kind of grew up with this.
Comic Mark says something quite interesting. He says, to be fair, Winnie the Pooh characters are based on mental illnesses.
That's true. That's true.
I mean, you look at Eeyore. I mean, that's and
Tigger is definitely schizophrenic.
ADHD or
ADHD, yeah. There's a video on YouTube, isn't there, of the dark conspiracies of all those characters? Yeah,
addicted to honey.
Addiction. Yeah.
So gluttony and all those. Yeah, look, but I mean, these things serve as a morality tale. This I have no doubt in my mind that whatever this is going to be is not going to be about a morality tale. It's just going to be like, let's make it edgy.
That I don't know. We got a couple of comments again in the chat. I am throwing them up, but I'll try read out as many as I can as well. Let me see. So Leland, because when I see new people in the chat, he says, leave Winnie alone.
Like leave Britney alone. Leave Winnie alone.
The Legend of the Traveling TARDIS is in the chat as well.
Split right, LWE. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
JWC Reviews though says, because they have no original writing ideas, they strip away the magic from everything, making iconic stories into depressing social commentary, and that would probably be the most accurate description there. Peter Harrington says, I'm sure Mickey Mouse will get an X rating soon. Isn't he in the public
The
domain?
Steamboat Willie one is the
Yeah,
original
Steamboat
one.
Willie is. Yeah. I don't think, because there's actually a YouTuber and someone that's on Twitter that I follow that is actually doing their own Steamboat Willie cartoon. So I think that one is in the public domain, but I don't think the mouse is. No, the mouse wouldn't be though, would he? I don't think actually Mickey
No,
Mouse would.
because it's in current use.
Yeah.
That's why.
And it's the main logo of the brand, so that would be trademarked. Wouldn't it? It'd have to be.
Yeah.
Sure. Think about it. Anybody paints Disney characters in creches or schools, like they're getting them to remove them.
You see, Mickey Mouse is a Disney creation. Winnie the Pooh is not.
Yeah.
So there you
Here
go.
He is.
Oh,
hi guys. I'm just here largely to say hi. Things are like nuts, but hello.
Nice to see you. Nice to see you. We're talking about the Winnie the Pooh R-rated live action movie that's in the works.
Why would I care about that? What are they going to do to Winnie the Pooh? Is he triggered, or does he do the triggering?
Well, I don't know.
I would prefer the Winnie the Pooh movie where he beats the hell out of Christopher Robin in a horror movie. I'm waiting for that to come out on Blu-ray.
Well, that might be what's going to happen in this one as well, because apparently it's going to be drugs in this. He's going to be going through a midlife crisis, Christopher Robin, and
so it's a comedy then.
Well,
could be a black comedy.
The Warped Eyebrow says, though, I grew up watching Winnie the Pooh, and it's such a nice little film.
Not anymore.
I agree, but it's not going to be. It's going to be tainted now. But again, great comments there, especially this one that Lee had already read out. The Winnie the Pooh characters are based on mental illness or whatever. You're right.
Well, Eeyore's depressed. Penguin's a psychopath. Winnie the Pooh is possibly a serial killer in the making.
Yeah, I mean, I don't get this new obsession with turning all of these into horrors.
It's called lack of originality. Although I did see the trailers for the last one, and that looked like some messed up shite. So I do want to see it.
It just looked like some blokes with a plastic mask on. It didn't really look like these were. Apparently, it starts off with like, oh, they're in the woods and they're all like da da da, and then they want to take their revenge, and then it's just some blokes in a mask.
Well, there are some pretty messed up stuff. One of the stuff I saw from the trailer was like Winnie the Pooh literally flogging Christopher Robin. So normal people don't come up with this stuff.
Anyway, any fans of Dodgeball in the chat, let me know, because I'm a fan of this movie.
Never heard of it.
Well, it stars Vince Vaughn and Ben Stiller, if I remember correctly.
Yes, and hello everyone. How y'all doing?
Anyway, say hi to Chris, everybody. Anyway, sequel to Dodgeball is in the works, and Vince Vaughn is set to return, and the source is Deadline. I'm not sure about this. I think this was a movie of its time. And if you've watched that movie, if that movie was shown today, I actually think, with the way people go on today, this movie would be quite controversial, because if you look at the old one, they're literally throwing balls at people that they shouldn't be throwing balls at. And that's why it's called Dodgeball, because you have to try dodge the ball. But anyway, I love this movie when it came out originally. I'm not quite sure on a sequel. Again, I think we say this nearly every week when we hear about sequels or remakes. They've just run out of ideas now at this stage. But Lee obviously hasn't seen this movie, as he just said there. So, Chris, have you seen this movie?
I did not like it, but
Oh.
but if you liked it, that's cool.
Yeah, well, I liked it. Yeah.
It's
Nobody.
sports related, not interested.
Never was a fan of dodgeball. Says though. Well, we got the legend of traveling TARDIS who said though, big fan of dodgeball, except that doping bicycles whose name I can't mention. Yeah, Lance Armstrong. I mentioned him. There you go. Never was a fan of dodgeball. It was one of those films the teacher put on at the end of terms as the warped eyebrow too. And as JWC, we just said his name because we don't care. It is Lance Armstrong, the biggest cheat in cycling history. If you dodge a wrench, you can dodge a Winnie the Pooh, says the legend of the traveling TARDIS. So, right, as everybody doesn't give a crap about that topic, I will move on to the next topic, which I don't have to throw up on screen for. So, the second trailer for The Flash was released, and it was Michael Keaton heavy, and I mean it was literally Michael Keaton heavy.
Well, considering he said he's in it for 5 minutes, it's probably all of that in the trailer.
But here's the big rumor, right? So if everybody is up with the Superman story within the studios, you will know before Henry Cavill that there was planned Superman movies that never went ahead. There was a J.J. Abrams one. There was a Kevin Smith one. And we also seen those photographs of Nicolas Cage.
Apparently he's going to be
in a Superman suit. Oh, thanks for spoiling it.
All right.
Anyway, thanks for that, Lee. Sorry. Anyway, ever since I've seen those photographs, right, of Nicolas Cage in his concept suit and the other suit that they put him in, I've always wanted to see him play Superman. And apparently the rumor is, and it comes from a source who apparently has been spot on with stuff, that Nicolas Cage is going to be in this Flash movie. But here's the thing. There's a bit of a moral dilemma with this movie, right? And Chris also wrote up about the Aquaman 2 movie, and he'll give you his opinion on it in a minute. But here's my opinion, right? The lead of that movie is Ezra Miller, right? And we've heard what he's done, right? And there's no alleged here because he was charged with stuff, right? So in Hollywood, classic Hollywood tradition, he's going to seek help. He's going to try to be a better person, right? But this man choked the woman. And then, obviously, he did all of that other stuff as well, where apparently he kept some people in his home. I can't say the word on YouTube, but you know, it begins with a K. And he kept them in his house. So he's done some pretty horrible stuff, right? I know why. That's why the second trailer was Michael Keaton heavy. The studio now is panicking and they're trying to get us to watch. But I'm going to say this, right? No matter how much I love Michael Keaton, and I do, and he was obviously my very first Batman, Michael Keaton was for me, right? And even though I would love to see Nicolas Cage play Superman as he's always wanted to do, always wanted to play. Sure, he named one of his kids Kal-El. I'm not watching this movie. I cannot support a movie of an abuser, and that goes with Aquaman 2. And whoever at the studios thought it was a good idea to get her to narrate the trailer is an absolute clown. But I want you guys to give me your opinions on both of these movies, because both of these movies actually, now Aquaman 2, apparently they have tried, and it has been rumored that Amber Heard has been cut out of some scenes that's not going to affect the movie, which is great. But she's still going to be in the movie, folks, right? And then we got Ezra Miller. So I want to ask you first, Chris, because you did actually put up about Aquaman 2. If you support this movie, you're supporting the abuser. And that's my stand on it. And it's my stand with the Flash as well. No matter how good that Flash trailer looks, and it does look good, I'm not going to deny it. I do think it looks great. I'm being honest. Even the first trailer, and I did like this Michael Keaton trailer, but I knew exactly what the studio were doing. Are you going to watch these two movies, Chris?
No, not a chance in hell. Aquaman 2 really pisses me off because, there are a lot of toxic men and women out there, but it seems to be that it's the toxic women get a pass, the toxic men get canceled and have their lives destroyed.
Mm-hmm.
The
So
toxic
why is
they
it-
them's okay. I pass as well. Just saying.
no, we could get into the they thems. That's the whole Ezra thing. That's a whole other thing. It's kind of two separate but very connected things. No, like she's and we all know people like this. We all know we all have had people like this in our lives.
Mm-hmm.
Just nasty, self-righteous, narcissistic psychopaths. Nothing good comes from them. Nobody can stand to be around them, and anybody that says they can stand to be around them are lying. I just think it sends a message, and I think it sends a very dangerous message. You can do whatever you want. You can lie. You can try and destroy a man's life, but you get a pass because checkbox. So yeah, you can still be in this movie. So anybody that goes to see this movie, I don't care if you're a fan of Aquaman, because they've done this. You go to see this movie, you're saying that you're okay with this. You're saying that these people deserve a pass.
Yeah, and it's okay to cancel.
I'm not done, they had plenty of time to reshoot this movie.
Mm.
They had many options to replace Amber Heard.
Mm.
They decided not to. They decided to go ahead with an abuser. Basically, she's above the law. She doesn't suffer the same consequences that a man would in the same situation. So you support, you go to see this movie, you're part of the problem, and F you. I won't swear, Noel, so I don't get you
no, it's okay.
But as for Ezra, same thing, just different thing. We're not even allowed to mention these people by name because it's a hate crime now. But yeah, you can run your cults. You can try and brainwash kids. You can be in that video that I think both Noel and I shared earlier this week, where you say terrible things to a minority, where you attack the minority and, well, get your ass kicked. That was the funny part. But no, you can do whatever you want. You can get away with it. You can take your weapon. I don't think I'm allowed to say the weapon into a school and end a bunch of people. But you know what? It's all about you. It's not about the kids.
Exactly, or the victims.
It's all about you. So
yeah.
And I'm sure there are some people of every persuasion that are perfect, law-abiding citizens. We know some of them. They're not trying to brainwash people. They're not trying to push things on everybody else. But in terms of Mr. Miller, that was not what he was doing. This is somebody who's actually on video assaulting a woman.
Yeah.
This is somebody who literally ran a cult. But we're going to go see his movie. I'm like, nope.
No.
You go see that movie. Well, then you actually support men abusing women on camera, because that's what it was. You support the other things that are unmentionable that Ezra has been.
Yeah, we can't mention them.
No, well, I'm not serious. That dumb. No, I'm not going to say what it was. But we all know what the accusations are. I'm like, we're at the point right now where you should know better. You support this stuff. You're part of the problem. You support it. With Bud Light, we've seen a very strong message. And these messages do work. I was in the Walmart earlier today, and the Bud Light section and the Budweiser section was completely stocked. Everything else was very low because people are buying anything but those things. So no, you need to talk with your wallets. And if you don't, You are part of the problem, and you have no right to complain.
Exactly. Lee, what's your thoughts on it? Because it is a moral conundrum, isn't it? And listen, none of us on the panel are necessarily you can make his our own choice, but
Oh,
if
no,
you
well,
have
no, that's
any
what I'm
if
saying.
you have
I'm
any
like,
sort of morals though, any moral beliefs, and you're against violence against women, and you're against accusations against men that end a false accusations against men that end a career, you do not support these movies. Seriously.
and I think we need to make that clear.
Yeah.
We're not pro censorship. We're not anything else. We are pro choice.
Mm-hmm.
But to quote the other side, decisions do have consequences, and this is something that your own conscience will have to deal with.
Yeah.
But Warner Brothers, mind-bogglingly, has decided to make these stands. The Flash would have been a lot harder to fix than Aquaman, but Aquaman 2, it would have cost them nothing to fix it. And rumor was Emilia Clarke was also completely willing to do it, as far as I know. So,
And there would
you
have
have
been better chemistry between her
Oh
and
no!
Jason
Well,
Momoa.
yeah. Well, Amber Heard has no
Yeah.
Amber Heard has no chemistry with this pen I'm holding.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, well, no. She's a narcissistic psychopath. They don't have chemistry. They have no charisma.
Mm-hmm.
They have fake charisma, but they're basically just generally evil people.
Mm.
So, but again, I'm not going to say don't go see this movie, but I'm saying if you do see this movie, you have to accept in your own conscience that you are part of the problem.
Mm-hmm. Lee.
Well, didn't Warner Brothers sack Johnny Depp?
Yes, they did, and that movie
Yeah.
bombed horrifically because of it.
Yeah, it really does smack of huge double standards. There is absolutely no justification for treating him one way and then treating Miller the other way, especially when there's heaps of evidence that it would easily have convicted him in any sane world. And yet, Johnny Depp, through a court of law, proven to be innocent. And still doesn't seem to be allowed back in the club, so to speak. Miles and miles of stinking, steaming hypocrisy there, which is just leaves a bad taste, frankly. Yeah, I looked at the trailer, kind of. I wasn't that impressed, quite honestly. I thought the CGI
Which
was
one?
quite naff.
Which one? The Flash or the Aquaman one?
The Flash.
It's
a lame I don't give a shit about the bloody Aquaman. I would, why would I want to see that?
That trailer, the Aquaman trailer, was actually awful, though, Lee. I have to
say. It was.
I don't know. But, I kind of agree with Chris. I think it is a matter of conscience. Not telling people to not go and watch. For me personally, I'm really kind of over the whole superhero thing anyway.
Most people are. Thank God.
Yeah, and I don't want to see Ezra Miller. I would love to see Michael Keaton as Batman. Absolutely.
Nicolas Cage is apparently rumored as well. I'm like, please don't dredge my
I know, that's what I mean, because listen, ever since we saw those images of him in that Superman suit, listen, well, no matter what anybody thinks of Nick Cage, I'm like Chris. I love Nick Cage, right?
You would have had to cut his hair.
I would have loved him to see him play. But here's a question for the two of you, because I think this is a very interesting one, right? So how can DC justify scrapping a $90 million movie in the Batgirl movie, but not scrap these movies?
Well, I think it's quite obvious, at least with.
Is it because they need the money, Lee?
No, it has to do with contracts.
Yeah, I think as well, from what I know or what we've heard anyway, that this movie is decent. Like, it's apparently a good movie. Everyone who says that they've seen it says it's really good. I don't care. I don't care how good it is.
Yeah.
I just don't like Ezra Miller. I
Yeah.
don't want to support Ezra Miller. I'm not going to pay to his coffers for this film. Will it be a hit? Probably. I just think it's quite. I think it's quite. No, I do think it will. I think because of the Batman element. They should have cut all the Ezra stuff out and just made it a Batman.
I think people are excited to see Michael Keaton again, but I think this is why.
But they only want to see him because he said the thing. He said all the things. He said the lines.
And he didn't say it properly though. I was annoyed at that.
He phoned it in. He absolutely phoned it in. And
I didn't like it.
No interest, Frank.
No, I don't want to see it because it's too late for Michael Keaton to come back. And I don't want to see him come back for this. It's one of these situations where the time to come back was like 15, even 20 years ago.
I don't know, because if he's actually good at this Batman, he might actually get, because of this movie, he might actually get his own.
Oh, and the problem with that, Lee, is unfortunately James Gunn has proven that he's not going to go for the most popular element. Henry Cavill is your best example. They had lightning in a bottle there. It would have been massive, and he decided to go with Zoomer Superman, which nobody wants to freaking see. So no, nope, not for me. I am jaded, but I think I also agree with Lee. I think the superhero genre, because we said this several times, is now 23 years old. If you want to factor Blade into it, I think that makes it like, God, what is it? 20, that was 98, was it? So it's like 25 years into it now. It was going to die eventually, probably within the last 5 years, but both DC and Marvel have expedited the end of the superhero genre. DC just will never get their act together, and Marvel is just unwatchable. Like, it's just a freaking joke. So I think box office could go one of two ways. I think it will do well because, there are still a lot of sheep out there. Sorry, the good people, but there are a lot of sheep out there that will just consume anything that has the DC name on it. So there's that factor, but also the tide is turning against this. And Ezra Miller is not an innocent. It's one thing to say, okay, he just does this or whatever. It's weird, but no, this is some guy that's done some messed up
next
shite.
level.
Yeah, we'll say next level. Like he's not innocent. And I would once again go to the Bud Light example. Regular people are sick of certain things because they've been literally terrorized by certain things, and this boycott against Bud Light is like something I've never seen. So if they actually push this is what Ezra has done, will there be a boycott against this? I don't know. I just, please don't bring Lord Nicolas Cage into this. I feel I'm generally I wasn't able to see it myself because things are insane, but I'm genuinely depressed over Renfield. Although, Zoomers wouldn't understand it because they can't watch anything that's longer than a minute. They wouldn't understand the comedy of Nicolas Cage as an old white dude. So
yeah. Do you know why I think they'll do it? Because they're desperate, mate. And everybody when they seen those images, Nicolas Cage, it's in folklore that he was set to play Superman. And I'm telling you, it's just something that I think James Gunn would just do, and the rest of the crew, just to get people to watch this movie. That's why they brought Michael Keaton back. Everything that they're doing is cynic. I'm telling you, it's gonna happen. Nick Cage is gonna be in this, and it'll probably be the only movie of his that I haven't actually watched.
Oh, I gotta say, Petey Rich, I'm a Miller Lite guy. Well, I don't drink anymore. But no, I wish I would have taken those pictures at Walmart today.
Well, you shouldn't drink it.
Hilarious.
You shouldn't drink it because it's got Ezra's name in it.
Yeah, and Miller is...
No. But honestly, I should have taken a picture at Walmart today because it was freaking hilarious. Every other beer looked like it'd been pillaged, and like the the Budweiser and Bud Light was completely
Yeah.
stocked and untouched. It was freaking hilarious. And Coors Light tastes like
Piss.
freaking piss flavored water. But
I'm
no,
sorry,
the Coors
American
Light was
beer
the
is
Coors Light had been
awful.
pillaged.
American
What's
beer is
awful?
awful.
Dude,
Yeah.
people were buying Moosehead. I don't think you have Moosehead over there, but
No.
Moosehead tastes like
No,
you
we
took
have
a moose.
beer.
We have
No,
proper beer over here. You Americans
no,
and
dude,
Canadians
you
drink
haven't-
pussy
you-
beer.
No,
Right?
dude,
You don't drink real beer.
Oh no, Canada does. You ever had Canadian beer? No,
Oh,
no,
no.
The US beer is wimpy. Oh, no,
Actually, we have some beer called
German
Canadian
beer
beer.
is
dude,
the
we,
best.
we've got this
German.
thing called Labatt Ice. What is it? 8% for beer?
Nah, Lee, Belgian beer is better.
Nah, German beer.
Nah, it's Belgian,
No,
man.
No,
they
no,
know
dude,
to brew their
Canadian
beer,
beer.
Germany.
Canadian
They
beer.
do. They
It's
don't brew it with
Oktoberfest.
sugar like we do. They
Yeah,
do it proper. You
Oktoberfest,
can drink
yeah.
at 3 o'clock in the morning, and go to work easy without a hangover.
Seriously?
Yep.
Oh man, maybe have to take a trip to
Well,
Oktoberfest.
Lee,
So-
I now drink my carbonated bubble water because I've given up everything that's fun. I've
Yeah.
given up drinking. I've given up smoking, which I miss terribly. I've given up pop or soda, as they call it in the US.
Yeah.
I've given up sugar on everything. I don't put salt on anything anymore. I have my one coffee a day so my heart doesn't blow up.
So
And
everyone,
I'm gonna
everyone,
replace
round
that
of
with
applause to
tea.
Chris. He chews on cardboard for a living.
No,
Yeah.
dude, I don't buy potato chips anymore. I don't know. I guess you guys call them crisps. I
Yeah.
don't buy that anymore. I've replaced it with freaking cucumbers and try and pretend that they're the same thing. I've given up everything fun.
Right.
Life sucks.
Right. Well, let's
I
move on.
bought rice cakes, Noel. Rice
Oh, wow.
cakes.
Yeah, well,
Good.
Cheryl
Good
eats
day.
rice cakes as well. So
Oh my God.
I know how you're feeling, mate, because they look like you're eating cardboard. So I feel sorry for you.
Have you ever had health food chicken?
No.
No.
It doesn't taste like chicken
Well, then why are they calling it chicken?
because it's a chicken-like substitute gelatin health
Oh,
thing.
fuck off.
And
Jeez.
Bullstruck is I am on life support, dude.
Right, well, here, we'll move quickly on because I know you're going to have a rant about this. So, Warner Brothers have struck again, and this is the first look at Merry Little Batman. The
Why
film
does
follows
Alfred look like a scrotum?
I'll put the picture
What
up
the
now on screen now. So the film follows Batman, Alfred, and young Damian Wayne, now known as Little Batman,
What?
as they navigate the fun and frustrations of life as a super family. The film will be released on Prime Video along a spin-off series, and here is the big
Really batting
picture.
1,000, Amazon.
Get
Frickin'
in the
idiots.
bin.
Get in the bin. No, get in the poop bin. Like I got a bin. Okay, Lee, I've got a bin outside. That's where my dog's poop goes.
Yeah, that's what this.
They need to go in that bin. That bin's
Yeah.
stinky.
What the hell is this?
So there
Why
you
does he
go.
look like, it looks like something out of a Pink Floyd album.
So there's our poor Alfred. He looks like an old cock.
Looks like freaking Gollum.
Batman, little Batman doesn't. I'm just gonna say it out straight. Little Batman here doesn't look white to me.
Wow, what a shock! I've never seen that before.
And is
Batman
this,
in pink. Yeah.
I mean, this is just awful. What kind of animation?
So, well,
Someone
it's
actually
that
said it
Cal
as
Art
well.
style again, isn't it? I mean, even looking at these three characters, they look like they're out of three different cartoons.
You're right.
They don't even match. They don't
No.
even look like they're in the same style. It just does. It's jarring. It's awful.
It is, isn't it? I'm telling you.
I want to punch
yeah.
it in the throat.
What? I don't even know what they're at now anymore.
So I'm assuming this. Like, what the hell did they do to Alfred? Like, he doesn't even look human.
No, he just.
No!
Unless this is their way of saying, "Oh, this is what an old person looks like:
Well,
saggy
I was
skin,
like
long
Igor.
nose." And,
It's like Igor from Duckula or something. You know.
Oh,
that's
and
what it-
PD, no, I can't. Salt and vinegar, no, I'm trying to limit my salt intake, so I can't even have that.
oh, Cheryl
I have
got the
chips.
salt and vinegar rice cakes, man. Oh, I don't know how anybody
What?
No,
sees.
Noel, I've started power walking.
Oh,
Power
Oh.
walking.
that's good for you, though. It's good for you. I know
I
it's
do
a pain
power
in the
smoking.
ass.
No,
What?
I can't. I
do
can't.
power smoking.
You do power smoking?
I haven't had it, no, dude. I would love to
Oh,
have a
fucking
cigarette, but I can't.
smoking.
Because I
Fuck's
would
sake.
like if I have one, by the end of tonight, I will have smoked that entire pack.
I hear you. I hear you.
So I could never
did
touch
try.
it again, and I miss it, and I think about it all the time. I'm
Yeah.
thinking about it right now. Never smoked inside, and don't smoke around my puppy because it's not nice to do that to your puppy. But no, it's like I'm like, oh, I'll try and pretend air is the same thing, and vaping is stupid. Oh, it's vapor. Yeah, no, you're stupid.
That
Right.
triggers my
Flavored
asthma.
crap.
That does.
Well,
I can
this is
smoke all
gonna
day and not get an asthma attack. If I have a puff on a one of those thingies, no, it just sets me off. Water vapor, no. Might as well stick your head over a kettle.
No,
Yeah.
Lee, what you need to do is you need to go out and breathe the air and pretend you're breathing in smoke because you're breathing in happiness.
Suck a pipe.
So, next topic is a topic. Obviously, there's a movie coming out that a lot of us fans don't want to see because we think it's unnecessary. But Indiana Jones, The Dial of Destiny, as you know, has caused a bit of a divide. Because, you know, there's fans like us who think, you know, there shouldn't be another one, you know, especially after the Crystal Skulls, which I actually showed Cheryl for the first time, the opening of that movie, and she even said that is awful. And then I showed her the part of the aliens.
Are you talking about the last Indiana Jones movie?
Yeah, the last Indiana Jones
I got a story
movie
to tell you about that, dude.
Right. But hold on, just before you do tell that story, just to say this, Steven Spielberg says he's watched Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. And
what's his stake in this film? I mean, is he an executive producer?
I don't know.
He's executive producer. I believe he has part ownership.
Well, there you are then. Of course he's going to say it's amazing.
Now, apparently he loved it, and he was quoted as saying, "When the lights came up, I just turned to the group and said, damn, I thought I was the only one who knew how to make one of these." And when I read that quote, I actually started laughing because I was saying, well, you directed Crystal Skulls, and that wasn't a great movie. So, I mean, what are you talking about? You made 2 good movies, like 3 good movies.
Oh, Crystal Skull. Oh, what a memory that was.
Go on, though. Tell us your story.
Okay, so the one of like the 3 times Chris has seen the Crystal Skull. So I went to go see it on my 30th birthday. Do the math. I'm old and I'm gonna die soon.
For me,
he's been miserable.
Yeah, at least 3 years older than me, but he looks younger than
and
me.
I'm
So I'll
smoking
die
like
before him. Yeah, no, you'll be fine. He's even got a cigarette there in his little picture. But no, so yeah, I almost got kicked out of the theater while going to see that because you don't want to see a really terrible Indiana Jones movie drunk and stoned off your ass. So I was celebrating a little bit, and we're like, we're gonna go see Indiana Jones. I'm like, I've seen the trailers. This looks stupid because this is when I was starting to get jaded. So I'm like, so it was during the like fridge flying scene or whatever it was, and I threw my my bucket of popcorn at the screen, and they didn't like that very much. And then I got a talking to, and then I snuck my beer and had a Mickey and got really drunk, and then passed out in my seat. But yeah, so it was a fun time. But even
be a fly on the wall.
I was. This is why I'm all like, what do they call it? Straight edge. I don't do fun things anymore. But yeah, no, it was a fun time. Apparently, I didn't remember this, but apparently I spent the whole movie yelling at the screen saying this was stupid, and my friends were very embarrassed.
I would have probably joined in.
No, probably. I used to have fun. I used to not be grumpy.
What do you think of this? I'll ask you, since obviously you're telling your story, but are you going to go and watch this movie, this one? Because I do remember after the Crystal Skulls, they were always talking about doing another one to rectify the fact that they'd screwed up with Crystal Skulls, which you did. But I've always had this argument, and I don't know if you guys agree with me, but I thought the whole point of The Last Crusade and that end scene where we see them riding into the sunset was the ending. That was it. It was. So why did they think it was? Why did they? I just don't understand bringing this back yet again. After
Cha-ching!
messing up.
Well,
Yeah, but
two
is it going to
reasons.
make money? Disney is in trouble right now. I mean, they can't get anything right.
No, two reasons. One, cha-ching, which you're not going to get. And two, the message. There you go. That's it. That's all you need to know. And will I watch this, Noel?
Yeah.
Seeing as I don't drink anymore, so I can't edit it, I would rather be probed with an anal fork. And I don't even know what that is, but it sounds terrible. And it sounds like more fun than sitting through that.
Well, if there's any aliens listening. Oh, by the way, talking about aliens, just real quickly before I get Lee to give me his opinion on it. Apparently, NASA scientists have told us that just outside our solar system, they have received radio signals from a planet.
Oh, thank God.
My advice. But hold on, my advice to those aliens, if you are, don't come here. Don't come here because they'll misgender you, right? They'll probably tell you then you were born in the wrong
They'll probably
body and all
anally
of that.
probe you. That's what.
Right? Yes, exactly. So don't come here, please. Just save yourselves from this virus that's going around. The woke virus.
No. Stop by, pick me up, and let's go. That's fine.
I'll go for a trip around the sun. Anything's better than this crap. Maybe they have healthy alcohol and cigarettes.
But Lee, what do you think? Are you gonna watch this movie, mate?
Oh, what? I don't know. Like, why would I put myself through hell? It to me, it would be like putting my head through a meat grinder and wondering why.
Well, dude, you still drink and smoke. You'll be fine.
No, I would need to be on acid, I think, at this point.
Can you drink in the theaters in the UK, because you can get completely bombed here?
I think you could sneak it in, can't you?
Oh no, you could buy alcohol at our theaters. It's,
oh really?
It's
but then you'd piss yourself,
now,
wouldn't you? Because you don't want to get out your seat at that point.
But here's the thing, Lee. Right, we've got to look at it this way, right? And we will talk a little bit about Picard before we finish up tonight, but. Season 1 and 2 are absolute trash. We're all in agreement with that. But season 3, they did something beautiful and wonderful. And we had great story. And we did have the member berries and all the nostalgia.
Why did Jack get a
bloody wait, we'll go to that. I promise we'll talk about it.
No, Lee,
I shouldn't have started. Just wait.
Yeah, I'm like Counselor Jack. It's on the level of that stupid 2009 movie where Kirk's just out of the academy and then he becomes a freaking captain.
Hang on, right? I know you have a problem with that, but I don't.
I loved everything else, I like Captain Seven.
But can we talk about?
I don't want Love Boat Boinky ship in space with Seven and Raffi. Give me Captain Seven.
But can we talk about the best scene in the whole thing?
Oh, there were lots of them.
Is when the Enterprise entered the Borg cube and start actually.
Oh yeah, it's like
when it becomes the fighter jet.
That doesn't matter, man. Come on, to see the Enterprise move like that.
Cube was the star. Was the Death Star.
But no, dude, there is the best scene for the Enterprise that we've ever seen. After that, when we look up at the Enterprise. And for the first time, you see how freaking massive that ship actually is, because you've never really seen it in perspective. And then the Enterprise D is so freaking big that it won't even fit in one of their little circles at the museum. It just the bottom part fits in the circle and everything sticks out. And I was very sad when Raffi said, "Isn't that ship ancient?" I'm like, "It's not ancient. It's basically like a battleship that would have been modern times, designed in like 1987. You don't say it's old and you send it off to pasture. You just give it a new computer and everything's fine. Everything old doesn't suck."
Do you know what though? To me, right, I think the last 2 episodes, in fairness, I'm gonna say this, were probably the weakest in the whole series.
What?
Right? Yeah.
No, you take away that ending. They're awesome.
I don't agree.
Then we cancel you and we don't talk to you anymore.
No. Listen, I'm not saying they weren't great. They were great, but to
No,
me,
no,
I don't,
they were great, aside from the end, which we won't watch.
I don't know.
I'm
I want to
talking
see
about
that show. See, I want to see that show, and I know probably you're one of those people, because there's a lot of years, which is fair enough, that didn't like the fact that the Titan was rechristened the USS.
I said right from the start.
You
I
did
said,
say that would
that's a
happen.
beautiful ship. That to me looks more like the Enterprise. And
Yeah.
by Jove, look at that. I was happy with that. I thought it was a fitting tribute. I think that ship is
There's a lot of people moaning about it.
I don't give a crap.
Oh, you're talking about the Enterprise G?
The Titan.
Yeah. Enterprise G.
Let Grumpy Chris give you a quick lesson.
Uh-oh.
Okay. No. I'm not. I'm
Better
not
than
saying
Enterprise
that.
F.
I got two things that I'm going to discuss.
Yeah, what happened to F?
Well, these are fun though. These are kind of funny and sort of twisted. Okay. So the first one we're going to talk about is the Enterprise curse. So, it's basically like Starfleet's Titanic. So we won't talk about the NX-01 because we don't know what happened to it. But 1701 blown up by Kirk. Enterprise A serves 6 years and gets decommissioned. Kirk gets killed on the maiden voyage of Enterprise B. Enterprise C is lost with all hands. Enterprise D, half of it blows up and the other half crashes into a planet. Enterprise D is destroyed by Worf. Enterprise F,
it wasn't his fault. He said so.
Well,
but we don't know what happened there.
And then you got the Enterprise F. I'm like, now here's the thing about Enterprise. So before I go to Enterprise F. So yes, welcome to Enterprise G. There's a 2.5 chance you're all gonna die, but have fun. But here's my niggle, Noel. Things make me a bit grumpy. Although this is me, it's nice to grumble about something that doesn't make sense for reasons other than wokeness. So we're going to talk about timelines here and why certain things don't make sense. So the last time we saw the Enterprise E was just a little over 20 years ago, and current Star Trek kind of follows real time with our time. So 20 years ago, they were still on the Enterprise E. We knew it was being fixed. Terry Matalas has said from his timeline, Worf succeeds Picard as captain of the Enterprise E and then immediately destroys it, which is, a very Worf thing to do. So I kind of appreciate it. And I hated the Enterprise E. That's such a freaking ugly ship. I love the way that its fate is basically a throwaway line. It was ugly as sin. Just leave it as that. But so you have the Enterprise F. So at the very oldest, this ship is going to be about 19 years old. 19, your flagship. And you're decommissioning it because that's what the ceremony is when the Enterprise F first comes out with Admiral Bitchy Pants, whatever her name is, Shelby, the mean lady from the episode. So I'm like, okay, so you got this state of the art ship, 19 years old at most, and like what? So that's like taking you got like I don't know like a $500 billion battleship built from our standards in 2004. So we're saying that something from 2004, which was state of the art, is obsolete. So yeah, that's although the Enterprise A has always bugged me more. It's been retconned as it was the Yorktown, although in Star Trek 5 and at the end of 4, it's very clear that is a new ship that was decommissioned after 6 years. So Starfleet, what's with the timeline? You seem very wasteful. We talk about recycling, but you throw shit. Oh God, that's so freaking ugly. No, honestly, I've rewatched the three god awful movies while Picard was on. It is hideous.
I don't
like ugly, and the bridge. I'm like, at the time in 1996, because it might have looked, but my God, it's ugly. It's cramped. It looks like a freaking submarine. I'm like, this sovereign class bullshit. This is your new Enterprise.
The disc should be at least kind of roundish, not like.
Have you ever seen the scale of how small the Enterprise E is? It's like after you had the D, And then so you had 1701 and then the A, the B, the C, up to D. Everything kept getting bigger and more majestic. And then after the D got crashed, we're just going to make them crappier. So you see the new scale, they just keep shrinking. And I don't
think like Apple computers, they look good for a bit and then they do like a really dodgy release. Like, why did you do that?
Yeah, it's like I don't know. It's Apple's a good thing. Yeah, they got ugly. Why is it ugly? And no, the enterprise put the and here and Dave Cullen actually gave this argument as to why it would you actually have a canonical reason to put the Enterprise D half back in service, because half your fleet just got frickin' slaughtered by the Borg. So it's like, okay, we need ships. Captain Riker, you can finally have the Enterprise D, because there's nothing wrong with this ship. From current terms, it was a state-of-the-art 1987, and it's a behemoth.
And it's a refit. It's basically new.
Geordi rebuilt the thing. I'm like, just give it a freaking computer upgrade and put the damn thing back into service. And it's like, they still have the scuff marks from Viridian 3, which was a nice touch, but he said he hadn't fixed it yet. So give it a new paint job, give it a new computer, upgrade the warp nacelles. I don't know, turn the lights off, because that's what they do on modern ships. Like, apparently you have to turn the freaking lights off. Like, put the damn thing back into service. Here's the other thing, Noel and Lee. Why the hell is Voyager decommissioned? That ship is still relatively new, relatively speaking. Like,
actually, that's the one flaw I will say that was wrong with the whole Borg storyline. Because if you're a Voyager fan like I am, I can explain to you that Future Janeway went back to the past and had upgraded Voyager with brand new anti-Borg technology and stuff, but they never used. That's the thing that kind of puzzled me. I could understand why they used the Enterprise, but then I was thinking, why didn't they use Voyager? Voyager would have been the perfect ship.
Like there is, other than, maybe Voyager is a bit of a member bear, but there is no reason that makes any sense for the USS Voyager to be decommissioned.
Mm-hmm.
Because it was significantly newer. The Enterprise was already destroyed by the time Voyager was launched. I'm like, it's like, no, but again, see, this is the good thing though. We're not arguing about wokeness or stupidity.
Exactly.
We're having these are like the fan arguments that we used to have.
Yeah.
I actually like having these kind of arguments because I just like arguing and making myself mad, apparently. But no, I prefer having these. But yes, it was ruined because I'm glad that Captain Seven is there. They shouldn't have killed Shaw. That was ridiculous.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, that's the one thing that kind of annoys me about this whole series. Why did you kill off one of the most charismatic captains? Sorry, Lee. Go ahead.
And I'll say, Petey Rich. Technically, if you look at star dates, they were the Voyager was commissioned at around the time the Enterprise was destroyed. The star dates almost line up, but I think technically Voyager was lost. If you look at, the star date, like a month before the Enterprise D was destroyed. And why was the Defiant decommissioned? That's not even the original Defiant. That was the Sao Paulo. The original Defiant was destroyed. This was the Defiant 2 or Defiant A that was launched at the end of the final season of DS9. So A, it's not the original Defiant, and B, it was new back then. So no, the Defiant doesn't have any reason to be there either. It's not the real Defiant, and it was fine. Oh man, why do I make myself so angry?
Yeah,
I'm gonna shut up now.
I'm actually in the middle of season 3 of Deep Space Nine. I finally decided.
Okay, so that didn't happen. Noel, it's all the same Defiant, and pay no attention to me.
So, just want to tell you though, I've really had.
Wait, Noel, have you never watched DS9?
I watched it years ago.
Are you saying you've never watched DS9?
Let me finish. Let me finish. When The Force originally came out, I started to watch it. But I found the first couple of seasons boring, so I gave up on it. Right? So
the first season was terrible.
So I decided to go back and rewatch it. So I'm on season 3 because I gave up in season 2 originally when the first.
Oh, you haven't gotten to Way of the Warrior yet. Oh, damn, man, you're gonna poop yourself when you watch that episode.
Now I'll tell you what episode I'm on. I've just done the Explorers one where Jake and
That's a good episode.
Cisco, they built the Bajoran ship that's like the first kind of space sailing ship, and then the Kardashians give them a nice little celebration at the end because they actually completed their mission. But there's one thing I'm going to say, right? And I don't know if it's just me, but
Cisco shouldn't have shaved his head.
Cisco just comes across. I don't know what it is, man. But in the fourth season, when he was talking to women or talking to anybody in general, he just seemed to be right up in their face, and it just seemed
there's a reason for that, Noel. He out of all the captains, this is the one that has the most development, and that was done on purpose.
Yeah.
And when you watch from the beginning to the end, he becomes a completely different person. It's like a reverse Walter White.
Yeah. Well, this is my favorite.
I can't watch 90s Trek.
No,
because it's the 90s hairstyles. I can't do it. I can't look at it and take it seriously. It's too 90s.
Cisco's bald. Well, starting at the end of season 3.
I'm not talking about Cisco. I'm talking about.
Yeah, he's put his new beard. He's got his new beard now.
Women with the wedge haircuts and the big
hairspray
hair. And
I never followed this, but Noel. So, given that you only watched the first little bit and haven't finished it, so you're coming up very soon on the feature-length season premiere of season 4, Way of the Warrior, which is a Star Trek fans wank fest. Even by today. And the last 20 minutes of that episode are going to have you drooling, even by modern standards, because I watched it this past year, and I'm still like, holy poop, because I can't swear.
Shit.
Hey!
What? I can.
Yeah.
It looks like a shoe.
That's the Voyager.
Yeah, it looks like a shoe.
Yeah,
well, I'm not saying I never liked the design of Voyager.
I like it. This is why I wanted. This is why I wanted to throw it up. I'm gonna be honest. This is my favorite ship.
I'm
going to be controversial here. Still, my favorite crew. But I will say this: I didn't think I was going to enjoy Deep Space Nine as much as I am. I do agree with Chris. I think the first season is very uneven, but they're finding their feet. Second season is slightly better, but I had a problem. My problem with the third season is this: they've done too many time travel episodes in season 3. There's already so far, like as I said, I've done Explorers. It's not a time travel one, but I think that's episode 20 something.
Yeah,
there's already been 4 time travel episodes, so I think they're got too heavy on the time travel episodes. But yeah, I'm loving it. I didn't.
Well, no, you're gonna like it, Noel, because as you get into it, the tone completely changes. It's both the Next Generation and DS9 both catch fire in their third season. The first season for both shows is completely abysmal. The second seasons are mixed. It's half good, half unwatchable, and in both seasons, some of the worst stuff Star Trek ever put out. Both of them hit the ground running at the beginning of their third seasons. DS9, the fourth season, it becomes partially serialized at that point with a big storyline that goes through. Halfway through season 5, they actually adopt the Next Generation film uniforms, which I think looks really good. The show gets dark. I think from season 5, 6, and 7, I don't think there's really a single filler episode, and crap gets. Oh wait, no, Lee swore. Shit gets dark, really dark, and then at the end, there's basically a 10-part movie that finishes it off, and it's awesome. And it's, aside from the hairstyles, which I don't notice because I have no style whatsoever, the only thing that ages it is the fact that it's 4:3 standard definition.
Yeah.
But other than that, if you're watching the DVDs are actually well authored, so they're decent. they're 20 years old, but even by today's standards, it looks.
I love all the characters, but this is the thing about Deep Space Nine, right? All of the characters, the main characters that are featured in the show, are actually all very likable. You've got Miles O'Brien, obviously. You've got the Dr. Bashir. Well, he's brilliant. I like him. I like the fact that he thinks he's a bit of a Romeo. And even in the first episode, he's like, oh, I chose this assignment because I wanted fun and adventure. And then
just wait about revelations that come out about him. I'm not going to spoil it for you in season 5. Then a lot of what he does makes sense. And by the end, he's actually playing almost a completely different character. Right. So just watch him closely.
Yeah. Quark, I bleed and love him. I love the dynamic between him and his brother. And they have had a few moments where he treats him like crap. But then they did have a lovely little moment there just a few episodes ago. So I'm liking him. Nog and Jake's friendship, that's good to watch, I have to say.
And with Jake, they could have a child actor that wasn't the most annoying thing, like Wesley Crusher. Jake is actually from the beginning very likable.
Yeah.
So they actually did like the kid cast member, well for once.
Yeah. I love Dax as well. Dax, by the way, interesting, is a man in a woman's body because they have a symbiote.
Yes, but this is the way we approach this in the 90s.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Very well done. By the way, you hear screaming. It's not Cheryl. It's the fox. There's a fox right outside me door.
Yeah. Let the victim out of the closet. Come on, stop it.
So, do you know the song "What Does the Fox Say"? Well, if you listen very carefully, you will hear the fox. This fox screams like a woman. Ted is.
What is a fox doing in Dublin? You're a major city. You shouldn't have foxes.
Oh, we get foxes. Yeah, we have foxes in London. What are you talking
really?
about?
Yeah. I did not know that. Like we get bears.
City foxes, yeah, man. These are foxes that live in the city.
I lived in a flat. It was a garden flat.
Oh, yeah. And
I had fox cubs every summer running up and down the wooden patio outside. My God, it was like 3 o'clock in the morning.
No, we don't have that here. We have bears. Apartment building I used to live in. There was a bear that would come out. Lexi did not like the bear, but I called the bear Bruno because the bear was used to people. Everybody knew the bear. But do you know which character is about to join DS9?
No.
Okay,
but listen, can I just say there's two more characters that I need to mention though? Kira and Odo. Odo to me is my favorite character of the whole show.
Have you ever watched Boston Legal?
No.
Oh God, dude. Okay. This is what you're watching next. It should be if you still have Disney
Plus.
Don't
give me spoilers now. I want to be surprised. Like.
Oh well, no. This is a different show. Okay, dude. Okay, so the stars of this show.
Mm-hmm.
James Spader, William Shatner, in his 70s when he started to go nuts, playing the most awesome character he's ever played because by this point he's just off the rails. And Rene Auberjonois, the late Rene Auberjonois, who plays Odo, and Candice Bergen, who's just there. But no, dude, William Shatner. You've never seen that William Shatner show? It was 2004 through 2000.
No, I never watched it. I know he was in Boston.
Oh, dude, it's awesome.
I never watched it.
Never watched it. And Rene Auberjonois is in it as well. No, you got to check that out. If you have Disney Plus, which I no longer do because I canceled it because it can kiss my bad word. But no, if you have Disney Plus Star, Boston. Actually, I don't even think you need Star. But yeah, Boston Legal is streaming on it. I have the first 4 seasons on DVD from when they aired. Actually, I've still never seen the 5th and final season.
No, I'm really enjoying it, I have to be honest now, man. But I'll check out. Yeah, I knew he was in Boston Legal, but I just never watched. But Lee, yeah, I'm serious, man. You know, if you can get past the first 2 seasons of Deep Space Nine, which I have now.
Don't even watch them. Start with the season finale of season 2. You don't really need to see one Ferengi episode in season 2, which starts the whole arc. But really, you can start with the season finale of season 2 and just watch it from there.
Right.
You could, but I'm being honest, man. It is. You know what? Everybody was telling me that it was worth the watch, and
No,
I know
the
PD and all was
Bajoran.
saying it, but it is, man. It's very good, and they deal with a lot of complex issues as
And
well.
some of them they throw out plot lines that were like the Bajoran thing. The Bajoran Civil War. They throw that out after season 2. The Maquis, they throw that away. It does not end well.
Yeah,
for them at all.
I have to bring it up because you brought it up. The Tom Riker episode.
No,
where
Thomas Riker. Yeah, Tommy.
Thomas that was a really good one.
I
really enjoyed
the
that.
one thing I'll tell you is don't get attached to the Maquis because you'll be very sad.
Yeah, well.
Although to be honest, they're really not much of a thing anymore. At the point, they're practically written out, so you don't hear much of the Maquis until not very good things happen with things that will happen in later seasons. You'll feel very bad for them.
Yeah, there's been hints of stuff that's coming. The Dominion, obviously, as well as being mentioned.
Oh, the Dominion, dude. There's the Dominion. They're all friends. They're touchy feely, and it's all warm and cuddles. Nothing happens with the Dominion. They sing Kumbaya.
These Dominion.
They go on picnics together, and bad things don't happen at all.
They do me arse, man. Right, what they did to Odo in the cave when Kira was stuck in the crystals.
Oh, no, dude, that was just a practical joke. They were just taking the piss. It was
practical psychos. They are those.
Dude, they're friends. They just it was Odo's birthday. They just wanted to mess with them.
But can I just say, my favorite Kardashian is Garak. He's a slime bag, right?
Surely Kardashian, not Kardashian.
Whatever.
Kardashian.
Yeah, same thing, right? One is plastic.
Okay, no. Here's a quiz. What is the Cardassian name for the DS9 station?
Oh man, you have to put me on the spot now.
Starts with the T. Terok N-O-R. Terok Nor.
Terok
Nor. Yeah, there you go.
Anyway, see him, but I have to say, watching him, right, he's always he's trying to help the crew, but in an indirect way.
You will respect him by the end of the show. That's all I'll say.
I'm already starting to respect him because there was an episode with him and Odo where they both get captured, and then you think he's actually turning against Odo, but it's part of his plan, and then they have a little moment together because they both hate each other. Well, Odo hates him anyway, and they have a moment together where they finally, Odo says to him, I'd like to have breakfast with you sometime. He goes, but you don't eat breakfast, and then Odo just walks off, and it's a nice little moment. I have to say, I loved it.
He is a villain with a conscience. He is a very conflicted person, but he's like Quark. They both have conscience in their consciences, and they're constantly grappling with it.
Yeah.
Because ultimately Quark always does the right thing.
Yeah.
Same thing with, in the end, Garak, but you've seen that already.
Yeah, I know, yeah. These foxes, can you hear them?
Oh.
Yeah, well, I can't really tell the difference between
are they
the
friendly?
Fox and you and Chris.
What? Oh, dear.
Oh, sorry, because we got bogged down on deep space. Oh, I'm sorry, Lee. Sorry, I know.
Hi.
But back to Picard then.
I'm going to shut up now.
Go on, here, Sean.
What?
Oh, no, I'm talking to the missus.
Oh.
Talking to the
You're
missus.
doing
Yeah,
your
but go on,
show.
Lee. Yeah, back to Picard. What was your favorite moments of the series finale?
Not Jack.
Right,
No.
but I asked what your favorite moments were. Not
Jack.
the ones that you liked.
Well, what did I like of the Empire of the Borg Strikes Back?
It begins A, B, C, the next letter.
D.
Yes. And unless you were creaming yourself, you're not a Star Trek fan if that didn't send you off to Happy Land.
I love
You are not allowed to not like that.
I love
I
Data
decree it.
managing to pilot that. I thought that was pretty cool. But it was the Death Star, wasn't it? Let's be honest. What did I like about? I mean, it's been like
Rafi.
2 weeks. Oh yeah, Queen Raffi. Yeah, she was the queen. Yeah. No, I loved the fact that the Titan was renamed the Enterprise because it looked so enterprisey, and I'm really pleased.
I really didn't.
I did. I was pleased.
When you're
Because I thought
done,
it looked like the Enterprise anyway.
I'll tell you why.
Well,
Because
you
the
have.
Titan, I think, forged its own name in this story.
Mm.
Here's what I think they should have done: a Titan class ship, Constitution, but not the Titan, like identical ship, same class ship, but named that the Enterprise.
I don't know.
I've thrown a pickle in the wrench.
I know what you mean. I see what you mean. But I thought it was a fitting tribute. I like that. I did. And I was annoyed that we didn't hear 7 and 9's engage, whatever the hell she was going to say. What do you think it was? What do you think she said?
But I think that was done deliberately, mate. I think that was done deliberately.
I know, but I'm asking what you think she.
What would she say? I think she would say engage. Yeah, I don't. What else could she say?
Well, her lover is sitting right next to her, so I don't know. She could have said something spicy.
Insert.
Okay, but yes, that's the one thing I don't like. I'm like, no, not like I want to see. I would love to see a series with 7. I think she'd work better as a first officer, but I'm cool seeing 7 as a captain, but not with that crew. Not with Raffi as the first officer, because it's going to turn to lovers in space.
Oh God.
And that crew is not very exciting.
Well, that relationship makes no sense.
I do have a bit of a crush on Geordi's daughter. She's very appealing on the eyes. So I would not have a problem watching that week after week, but still, the crew is
Counselor Jack.
That's just stupid.
Screwed.
Well, he's kind of an advisor.
He was responsible for everything that went wrong. Who thought, I'm just for no reason going to go off by myself, take a shuttle, and go meet the Borg Queen without a plan, and because I know I'm the weapon, so I'm going to go right into her arms and take her down and not have a plan. And he gets there, and immediately he's completely enthralled and assimilated.
He pulled a Picard.
Here's the thing, though: the Raffi and 7 of 9 relationship makes no sense because if you're a Voyager fan, she near the end of the Voyager's run, even though it was poorly executed, her and Chakotay were falling in love with each other. So what happened to Chakotay? Like, did she just?
Well, no, he's everybody forgets him because he was so boring.
Well, he was.
P.D. Rich, he is the captain's assistant. Basically, Jack becomes Yeoman Rand. For like the 5 of you that have watched the original series, you'll get that. He's Yeoman Rand.
So he's cucked basically as the.
I assume you two know what I'm saying when I say Yeoman Rand. Grace Lee Whitney, Captain Kirk's assistant and occasional lover.
Oh God, now you're stretching my Star Trek knowledge.
Oh, P.D. Rich, please. Okay,
He knows everything.
yeah. Okay. Oh my God, you. Okay, I hate you all.
I love classic.
Yeah, I can't remember every single bleed name. Classic.
She was part of the main cast for the first half of the third season or the first season. You know, blonde.
I know who you're talking about now. The blonde, yeah.
Grace Lee Whitney,
the Yeoman Rand. That was the captain
with the real short skirt on her. Yeah.
And Captain Kirk broke many an HR policy with her. Well, he did with everybody. Well, he actually banged a lot of his crew members.
He did. Picard was a bit of a horny one.
Is that why you think Sulu was a bit salty with him then?
Probably
because he's bisexual now, apparently.
Oh, for God's sake, will he that man just leave it out now? I mean, listen, I get it, right? He stole a couple of your lines, but he's still a bitter old man. Just get over it now, right? This whole thing is getting old now. I mean, he's just being controversial to stay relevant. And it's sad to see because I actually like Sulu and I loved him in the movies as well. Like, yeah, I loved him in the show, and I just see the way he goes on Twitter. It's a bit of a turn off, really.
His namesake got blown up because they blew up the Excelsior. Also, one of the ships on the screen was named the Hikaru Sulu.
She got fired because Bill didn't like her, and she was turning into an alcoholic.
There was lots of drama on the set of
the original series.
Basically, Leonard Nimoy was drunk for the majority of his run. And he barely remembered whole sections of, I believe, the third season. So Spock was drunk. Apparently, he was intoxicated while filming a lot of his scenes, which is funny in retrospect. Apparently, Yeoman Rand was having some issues on set with various substances. It was the late 60s. And William Shatner was kind of a jerk during that entire. Basically, it was like the drama behind the scenes is about as much excitement as the show. Oh yes, and Gene Roddenberry apparently was like having relationships with. It was like it was just a disaster. But they made a great show. But there are books written about what went on behind the scenes, and holy crap, the fact that they managed to put a single episode together is brilliant. But whenever you're seeing Spock in a scene, just keep in mind he's probably drunk.
That's why he's raising his eyebrows, actually just trying to focus his eyes.
Oh, apparently there are scenes where he's sitting where he couldn't stand up. He was, I don't know how he pulled it off. But no, it became an issue. I think near the end he like sobers up. But no, man, the guy was a walking disaster.
Amazing.
Yeah, I mean, again, there are the legendary stories about all the stuff that went on behind the scenes. Even with Next Gen, there was some stories. Voyager was the same. There was a lot of conflict behind the scenes there.
Oh, Enterprise was even worse. And Scott, the only reason people didn't like shoot each other was because Scott Bakula is such a nice guy. He spent half his time being like peacemaker. And could you imagine what it's like on the set of Discovery? How many people go there? They just cancel you.
I have to ask is right, because now that I'm getting back into a Star Trek buzz, right, and I'm watching all these shows again, would you recommend Enterprise?
I would recommend the third and fourth seasons, which are masterpieces. The fourth season in particular is probably one of the best individual seasons of Star Trek.
Well, should I watch it from the beginning? Because I don't mind watching these from the beginning.
There's a mix of decent episodes in season 1. Season 2, especially in the second half, the show goes completely off the rails to the point of being unwatchable until the season finale where they set off season 3. Right. Honestly, you could skip all of season 2 you have to watch the season finale because that sets up all of season 3. But season 2 is dire. Season 3 is completely serialized and it gets really dark. And season 4 is an absolute masterpiece. And just as it hit its ground running, it gets canceled.
Yeah,
and don't listen to the theme tune, obviously, because that's how.
Oh, I've heard it. It's me ma's favorite.
Just skip
Hang
it.
on, Lee. It's me ma's favorite fucking theme tune, man. She has it on her phone, man. She blares the thing out of her earphone.
Horrible.
She loves it. It's that stupid. I've heard the song. I've actually heard the song. It is god awful. How did they even think that was a Star Trek theme anyway?
Because they wanted to be different. They deliberately shot it differently. It was done in 16:9. It went high definition right away. It looked different. They wanted to ground it more in reality. They didn't want to call it Star Trek. For the first 2 seasons, it's just called Enterprise. It becomes Star Trek Enterprise in season 3. So the first 2 technically aren't even Star Trek.
Yeah.
Well, technically yes, technically no. It's one of the shows that listened to the fans, and the fans hated the first 2 seasons. Like season 2, they just stopped trying halfway through. They were literally just recycling TNG stories very badly by that point. Season 3, they're like, okay, we gotta spice things up. And then you watch the season finale, and I didn't know what was gonna happen. And then, like, just in the cliffhanger, the thing happens, and then you're like, did they actually? Holy crap, they did that. Then shit gets dark. The season 2 felt like season 1, Rich, but PD, but worse, much worse. Remember when they tried to do the original series had an episode, which The Offspring, I think is what it was called. Was it? Yeah, I think it was called The Offspring. It's the one where they tried to tackle LGB stuff, which Star Trek: The Next Generation in 1992 did it really well. I think especially for the time, covered it in allegory, but did cover, and I'm sure Lee, you must have seen that episode, and you could definitely identify with it. Enterprise tries to do the same story in 2003. Let's just that's how like behind the times they were. It was just sad. Just really sad.
Right. Well, I'll tell you what we'll do, because we've monopolized the stream for the last 30 odd minutes. What I'm going to do is I'm going to let Lee
I suddenly showed up?
have the opportunity to bring up any topic that we haven't brought up tonight, because we've covered all the topics now that we actually need to cover on that scrolling across the screen. But can I just say, Jerry Springer passed away, legendary talk show host. He did as I would call the trailer trash talk show circuit, bringing people out. Oh, he's been sleeping.
I wonder what his final thoughts were.
I knew you were gonna. Oh man, I used to love that though. I used to love that at the end of it'd be a shit show all the way through, and then for just those few minutes, he would come out with this lovely speech about how everybody should look after each other,
take care of yourself and each other. Yeah, I mean, even that what's it, the English one with the white hair, he used to say that at the end, didn't he? Robert Kilroy Silk, take care of each other. I just remember Chris Morris's Jam taking the piss out of that the day Kilroy Silk lost his mind. And you see him going on a rampage naked in the B Jams or whatever. Yeah. I always thought it smacked of insincerity, quite honestly. But what a surprise. Yeah, and Dame Edna Everage, Barry Humphries as well. Yeah. Another loss.
Another loss, yeah.
Yeah.
And again, attacked by the Rainbow Mob.
Naturally.
And I must say, I must just correct my thing. I called it The Offspring. I'm silly. The episode is The Outcast. Okay, I'm going to shut up now. That's the LGB episode.
Mm-hmm.
And I got to go pee.
Okay, you go pee. So, Lee, is there anything that we haven't covered here tonight that you've seen on social media, or any as because we haven't done it for a while actually? If you want to make your recommendations for this week as well, actually, because by the way, Lee, just to tell you, the first episode, I haven't watched it yet.
I have.
The first episode. Oh, you have watched this first episode from?
I have.
Now all I need to know, because I know you'll tell me the truth. No spoilers, but some people are saying it's awful. Please tell me their line.
It's hard. I don't think you can say straight off from the first episode. There's a lot to unpack there. Right. There are some new characters. I'll say that.
Yeah. Well, we've seen the cliffhanger, so yeah. Obviously, there was going to be new characters. Yeah.
And one of them is going to throw a bit of a spanner in the works in relationship terms with the deputy.
Oh.
But other than that, there's a weird. I mean, it has a weird cliffhanger. Well, it's something to do with hanging anyway. But I mean, I won't go into detail with that.
Yeah.
It fits quite well from what's happened.
Right.
It's too early to say. It's
Steady
too-
start. So would you say kind of a steady start then?
It carries on from where it left off. So,
Right.
you know, it's way too early to say.
Yeah.
But it was fun. Well, I say fun, it was fine. I mean, it was enjoyable. I don't really know. I mean, there was nothing super uber duper creepy. So that's they're holding back from that. So we'll see. There was a situation, and
Mhm.
we don't know what that's going to what's going to happen to one of the
Right.
characters because he's kind of trapped. So there's that. Yeah, I have to wait for. I think what they should have done is released 2 episodes rather than 1. I think they should have put 2 out like they did with other shows. You know, you put a couple of episodes out just to kind of get you to the meat rather than sort of waiting to see what happens. But I don't know.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing. I'm waiting on 2 episodes to drop before I actually watch it because just in case, you know, yeah.
Well, they dropped 2 episodes of the new season of the final season of Barry, which
Still haven't
is
watched it.
fantastic. Right,
I have it bookmarked somewhere.
The first 2 series are the absolute best.
Wait, Barry, that's not Disney Plus, right? Because I don't have that.
HBO.
Anymore. Okay, I have that on Crave. Okay, no, I actually did add it to my watch list. I will watch it at some point.
Chris, watch it, love it, and you'll thank me later.
Dude, how many shows have you told me to watch that I still have to watch? Oh wait, Battlestar Galactica. You've been yelling at me to watch that for years. That's one, isn't it?
Yeah.
I still have never watched it.
You still have to watch From because you're into horror. You're into the horror genre, and this is kind of like a bit horror mystery and stuff like that. You should watch season 1 of From as well.
Season 1, does that mean it gets canceled? Is it Netflix?
No, the second season's already started. They've dropped it. That's what we're talking about. The first episode of that has dropped.
Oh, I was gone.
Have you watched Blake 7 yet?
Well, I was. We need to pick that up again. Actually, Lee, what I'm probably going to do is I'm going to finally get a region-free DVD player, which will like $30, and finally get the Region 2 DVD set because that ain't never going to watch come out here. But no, I was watching Blake 7, but we were doing our watch-alongs. With our dear departed friends. So to be honest, for that reason, I haven't been able to watch them since, but I will watch them again.
Well, we have to, I think we should have to do, I think we need to do that. We need to do that as a tribute to.
How about we do that this fall? We could do it on alternating channels. We'll dedicate it to Alpha, and we'll probably have to do it on like a Sunday or something. But
his anniversary is in January, folks. So
yeah.
In
honor of Alpha, we'll finish the watch along. But yeah, no, I was really enjoying it, but dude, I haven't been able to watch it since. But I will pick it up again.
We have to do it for Alpha. What was I thinking? I've been recently rewatching Green Wing, which is without doubt one of the best British comedies ever made. Stephen Mangan, Michelle Gomez, loads of great comic actors in there. Just been absolutely loving that. Watched that with Jack. What else? Watched the BBC pilot for Dirk Gently, Steve Mangan in it as well. That was good fun. Back from 2004, I think it was, which was the Douglas Adams, Dirk Gently's holistic detective agency that they did. I'm going to watch the American version again because there was an American version, because of course there was, which was somewhat removed from Douglas Adams, but it was still quite enjoyable. I'm thinking about rewatching Utopia as well because I think that show is really good. There's an American version as well as the British version. British version I think is slightly more grittier and better, but the US version was actually quite good. And of course, we've got the new season of Black Mirror coming out on Netflix.
Yeah, I saw the trailer. I thought it was shy.
I don't know. It looks interesting.
I could tell you what I watched this week, which I
What?
would recommend if you haven't seen it.
Do tell.
Actually, I was sharing it on my normal Twitter account, not the dumpster fire. No, I'd only ever seen the first one in this trilogy. Actually, it's a quadrilogy because the second one there was actually two completely different movies made. One was scrapped, but trilogy or quadrilogy. So I'd actually picked up the set from Arrow Video 4 years ago on Blu-ray, and had still only seen my DVD of the first one. So I'm like, I'm finally going to sit down and watch the rest of them. So Ringu, the Japanese, the original version of The Ring, the Japanese, it's with subtitles. And if you refuse to watch movies with subtitles, we cannot be friends and you're illiterate. But
or
no,
dyslexic. Hello.
I'm sorry, Lee. We'll get you some descriptive audio. But no, okay. So Lee gets a pass. But for the rest of you, it is subtitled, but they are, I love the original, the 2002 Ring, and one of like the 5 people that don't hate the Ring 2, although Rings is pretty silly. But no, this was damn good. Like, holy crap. The original one is about the same, but maybe a little bit better than the American after watching it. The second one is similar, but goes into a slightly different direction. And then the third one, which is actually a prequel, put me into holy crap, this is amazing territory. So I would recommend Ringu. But we everybody else you must. Lee gets a pass. Although actually, Lee, you can, even without the stuff, you can kind of get it without even sort of seeing it. Just turn the subtitles off, and then it's creepy. I think at one point there actually was a rough English overdub, I think, of the 3 of them, which is available somewhere where you can watch the hokey English stuff. You know, but if you can watch the original, but no, absolutely brilliant. And another one, an American film, which I actually like, with Jennifer Connelly, Dark Water. Less known, but came out around 2005, I think, as well. But no, for last Christmas during the Arrow Video sale, I got the original Japanese version of that, which is same director. So I'm going to be watching that probably this week. Actually, I love foreign horror. I've got like my Japanese section. I've got a massive giallo horror Italian section. The French come up with some really messed up stuff. So do the Germans. So yes.
Go ahead, Lee.
What do you want?
You are still making your recommendations.
Yeah. Well, I think that's pretty much it. I mean, can I think of anything else? Film-wise, what have I watched recently? I can't even think. No, I think that's it. I really highly recommend people watch Barry. That show is just, it's a perfect mix of really dark comedy, pathos, drama, violence. It's got it all, and it is hilarious. And I won't spoil it, but there's an episode in season 2. I think it's like episode 5. The scene with there's a story in this with because he's a hide killer, right? Barry's a hide killer, but he wants to change his life and go into acting. And it's completely bonkers. But there's a scene in season 2, I think episode 5, and it's got this girl in it. And he basically is trying to bump off her dad. I can't really go into that, but it is one of the funniest things you'll ever see. It's so funny. I can't stress enough that you must watch this show to get to that episode. So good.
I'll watch it eventually. I will actually when I actually there's nothing on that I really want to watch anyway. I will watch it there on my Sony TV.
Boo.
I just had to throw that in there. Just
anyway, we're not going to start the Sony Panasonic debate again because we already know that Sony is better than Panasonic.
Oh, I didn't start it. Noel started it.
Boo.
But what can I recommend this week? Well, as I said, I've been stuck on Deep Space Nine, so I haven't really had time to watch anything else.
It's
this week.
it's
but I did
addictive,
watch,
dude.
But I did watch 65, the Adam Driver movie, where he crash lands on a planet that happens to be our planet, and he crash lands at a time of the dinosaurs because he's obviously not human and he's from an advanced civilization, and he's there. Something happens. His ship anyway. He crash lands on Earth, and then he realizes that the asteroid is coming towards the Earth. The asteroid that will wipe out the dinosaurs, basically. So he finds this girl in cryostasis that he finds, and he has this whole thing about his daughter going on. Like he keeps having these flashbacks and all of this. It's quite good. I didn't think it'd be, to be quite honest with you. I'm not. Adam Driver. We kind of associate him with Disney, Star Wars, and stuff. But I wanted to give this movie 65 a go. If you're just into a good, fun movie, it's very cliched. I will say that there's nothing new here. It reminds me of the movie with Will Smith and his son, what was that one where they were trapped? They crashed their ship. Do you remember?
Oh, no. It can't be that bad. That's Shyamalan's worst movie. That's the only one that he's made that isn't even so bad. It's funny.
That was After Earth, wasn't it? It was After Earth.
Bad.
Yeah,
I love Shyamalan. That's the only movie I can't watch.
Yeah, now that movie was
I tell you one movie I will not recommend because I watched it recently and I wish to God I hadn't. Not because it was bad, but it's just because it is without doubt the most depressing film of all time, and that was Threads.
I was about to say that because that is the only movie that has actually seriously messed me up. No word of a lie as you were about to say that. I was going to say Threads because that is the most depressing thing I can think of. Jesus Christ, what a downer.
It's so depressing. It is without doubt the ultimate depressive movie. It is apparently the most realistic depiction of all-out nuclear strike.
It's horrific. I had nightmares after watching that.
It was so dark. So there was no optimism in that film whatsoever, and it ended as bleakly as it started. And you know what? Where did it bomb? It bombed Leeds or something. Or, no, where was it?
Somewhere up north. It bombs everywhere, but it takes place.
Yeah, it bombed somewhere up north. I thought, well, it's grim up north anyway.
Manchester.
No, it wasn't Manchester.
I could have sworn it was Manchester.
No, it wasn't Manchester. No, I think it was either Leeds or no. Is it Birmingham? No.
Oh crap! No, yeah, it is Birmingham.
It is. Yeah. Well, how would you know it had been bombed anyway?
Well, yeah. I'm about to say it was all new after World War II because there was nothing of the original city left.
Yeah, that film, honestly, if you've not watched it, don't watch it.
Dude, people have asked me because of the whole horror fan, what is the most horrifying movie you've ever watched or what actually sticks with you? I always say Threads. I'm like, that very, very little messes me up. Usually it's, movies like Pig, which destroyed me, or Marley and Me, anything that bad things happen to animals. But from the horror genre, which I do consider it a horror movie, it's Threads. Noel, have you ever seen Threads?
And it's from 1984, and it looks like the actual effects of the bodies and everything. It's really, really grim. It's wow,
It's BBC. Have you ever seen the American version, The Day After?
Yeah, that's bad.
Actually, it's not. No, it's not bad. It's directed by Nick Meyer. Right, it's right around the time he did Star Trek 2. But Noel, you've never seen Threads?
Nope.
Okay,
don't watch it.
No. I've got the Severin special edition Blu-ray. Noel, you're gonna watch Threads. I want to see what you have to say. And if you haven't stepped out in front of a truck by the time you're done watching it, you need to tell us what you think. No, dude, this is messed up. Like it's horrific on every level. It doesn't even have any freaking music, at least for the second part when things get really dark.
Lads, there's already enough to be depressed about, and you want to make me even more depressed. Come on.
When it looked like war was happening, with the whole, we're not going to go into the details, but when a certain country invaded another one, and we were led to believe certain things were happening, and we were all going to die, I watched Threads that night.
We've got Luke Skywalker in the chat, by the way.
Luke, have you seen Threads?
Nope.
That's a very nice sentiment.
Actually, you know what's really depressing as well? Batwoman.
Okay, maybe Threads isn't quite as depressing as I
or maybe no, I had to. We can't. No, I mean woke Batman. Yeah, that's just sad. Makes us all very sad.
I watched Signs a couple of weeks ago.
Oh, that's a masterpiece. And anybody who says otherwise, that is one of my favorite movies of all time.
I agree with you. I
prefer Signs over any Spielberg. And the people say that I said After Earth was terrible. It's the only Shyamalan movie I can't stand. I love everything else he's done, even his bad movies. The Happening, The Last Airbender is just terrible. It's hilarious. Everything else he's done, and he's done masterpieces. His best movie is Signs. Sixth Sense. I like Gold.
And Store of Echoes I love. Even though that's not him, but I do love Store of Echoes with Kevin Bacon. But Kevin Bacon, actually, I want to bring up Kevin Bacon real quickly.
Kevin Bacon, we've lost him. We've lost him.
We've lost Kevin. Unfortunately, folks, we have Kevin Bacon starred in a movie recently, I think last year, and it was about an LGBTQ plus camp, and a serial killer goes on the loose and starts killing them off. One by one, and Kevin Bacon was basically in this movie. Him and his missus decided it was a great idea to post a video on social media of them dancing, coming out in support of drag. Now, as you know, that topic is very controversial at the moment because there is a distinct difference to the kind of drag that we have today to legends like Lily Savage and, as you said earlier, on Barry Humphries. Like, totally two different types of drag, isn't it?
There's that kind of drag, and then there's the Botox bitch RuPaul's kind of drag, and and then you see, I mean, how many more times do you need to proof with your own eyes the drag that's been promoted in libraries with toddlers and kids where they're effectively doing pole dancing routines? They got like it's genitalia almost hanging out, if not actually hanging out, and doing having kids put money in their G-strings. That's the kind of thing that's being pushed. Not like your Lily Savages or your Dame Edna Everidges or any of that. That's the old school stuff. That even then, when Paul O'Grady did Lily Savage, he toned that act down for Blankety Blank, and eventually dropped the character and just did himself Paul O'Grady, and toned it even more down. That he understood. He understood that was a different audience.
Yeah, different time as well.
And drag in terms of the pantomime dames, pantomime at Christmas is a different thing as well. That is not the same thing. If it was a pantomime dame doing story times for kids, that I can understand. That would be funny. That would be very clever. That would be how the British would do it, for example.
It's like Mrs. Brown Boys.
Yeah, and this America. It's all about sexualization, looking like a made-up hua, basically, wearing very little in the way of clothes, if anything at all, barely. With very sexualized performances, very overdone, whorish-looking makeup, which is not a very good role model for anyone, really. I mean, it's great for adult entertainment. Don't get me wrong. I'm all for that. That's fine. But not when you're targeting that at kids and then bring it into TV shows like Doctor Who, not really the right time to do it, I don't think. It's certainly not that kind of. I mean, especially with Jinx Monsoon, who, after being cast in Doctor Who, now has
Are you
the
talking
interest
about
of
the
a.
Now, listen,
young-
before
of
you
a-
say,
wait,
Alan,
wait, no,
be
no.
careful the way you worded those. All I'm just going to say to you, right? I know
Well,
what
yeah,
you're going to say.
I'm not
but-
going to be as graphic as Jinx
Right.
Monsoon. But the point is, when you go
Nothing
onto
could be that graphic.
No, when you go
that's
into
disgusting.
a podcast and talk about your sex life graphically, after being cast in Doctor Who and being presented as this colourful, fun character for effectively what
Exactly.
most people see as a kids show, whether or not it's a family show, right? Or it used to be. I mean, kids
Not
don't
anymore.
really
It's
watch it anyway.
propaganda now. But yeah.
But I mean, if you're trying to bring in a fresh, younger audience, and then you cast someone like that, who then
not
does
there
something
yet.
trashy like that. I mean,
Exactly.
think about when Tom Baker was cast as the Doctor. He didn't smoke. He didn't swear in public. He kept himself very. I mean, he'd go out and get drunk, but that was at night, But during the day, he wouldn't swear. He wouldn't smoke. Billie Piper, when she was cast as Doctor, he didn't smoke in public because she didn't want to be a bad role model. And then you get Jinx Monsoon talking about a condom incident. Are you snorting cocaine? What are you doing?
Yeah, he's trying to not get himself demonetized.
Right, and then you have Ncuti Gatwa smoking in public. It just seems like the standard has somewhat slipped here.
There is no standard.
If you're going to say this is fit for kids,
You're an idiot.
yeah, this is not the way to do it.
Well, in fairness,
we all knew this was going to happen. We all knew this was going to happen. As soon as I saw that casting, I was like, there is no way they're not going to be able to keep SEX out of this. And straight away, within a matter of a week or so, that happened.
I will say it's not a good look, and I did say it, but I won't make a big deal out of it. But I think he should have been a bit more careful with being seen with a cigarette in his mouth. He's a role model.
And he's standing there sticking his arse out as well in another photo.
No, dude. Even when I used to smoke, I wouldn't smoke around kids. And I'm not a.
Well, I'd blow it in their face. I don't give a shit. I'm kidding.
It's like, damn.
Yeah, but right. So if we get Jinx Mon, first we get Seuss from Doomsday. By the way, who's been complaining about her blue check mark, but then as soon as I brought up the fact that Elon Musk actually is not in line with her trans ideology, she stopped talking about the blue check mark all of a sudden and turned her attention to Tucker Carlson. Good luck with that one. Also, Jinx Monsoon, when I brought up the fact that the basically Elon's ideology didn't fit with theirs, Jinx Monsoon had got a check mark, and then now the check mark is gone. By the way, that stream that I did on Twitter has over 400 views.
Congrats, dude.
It went down really, really well with everybody. Listen, as I said, I can't do it on this channel because I don't want to put the channel at risk with the topics that I talked about on Twitter. But by God, am I not going to stay silent anymore? As I said, I've seen what Lee has gone through on Twitter and the abuse that he's received over these last couple of months, right? I've kept silent, right? I've said a few things, but I've kept silent. But I've seen video after video of so-called trans women attacking biological women. And it's just stirred something inside me. If we don't, as I said on Twitter, I'm not going to go too much into this because I'll probably already get this stream's already demonetized because I brought up the word trans, right? But I just want to say one thing. This is the time now that everybody, and I mean everybody, needs to speak up. We cannot sit right by and ignore what's happening around us, right? The activists and the people that are behind it, they're starting to get violent now, right? I seen another disgusting video today, which I will talk about on Twitter. Maybe I'll do a weekend stream. If not, I'll do it definitely on Monday before we do our other streams. But now, these activists have lowered themselves even further, because we thought it was bad enough that they were going after kids and trying to transition kids. Now there's a video circulating around Twitter of them putting wigs and fake boobs on Down syndrome kids and putting dresses on them and putting makeup on them, and it's absolutely disgusting. What's happening to our children today is a crime against humanity. I said it on Twitter, and I can say it here. It is a crime against humanity. So the time for everybody sitting down and, staying silent, I'm sorry, we're at a point where everybody needs to speak up now. Because if we do not do something about this, we will regret this. We will,
Yep.
And we're already regretting it as it is. We will never live this down. There's already a generation of kids that have been absolutely destroyed by this ideology. And I'm sick of looking at Lee and everybody else in the LGBT community be attacked every day because of their sexuality, because of these crazy people. And I'll say it again.
Criminals.
Right, I'll say it again. I saw Monty put something up, right, and I saw Dylan put up something where he said that misgendering should be made illegal and people should be arrested and locked up. No, I tell you what, you should be arrested.
You should be arrested.
Yeah,
who should be arrested are the surgeons and
but they won't get arrested.
All these affirming things. Listen, a week and a half ago, is it now? I lost my friend, the one I've mentioned many times on this podcast.
Yeah, the one that got the
my friend who used to be in my band, who transitioned in his 40s, detransitioned in his 50s after the bottom surgery. Right, and when we say bottom, you know that I don't mean a bottom, right? I mean,
we know,
we know what you mean, yeah.
So, I mean, when he was affirmed and swept along with this thing, it took him 3 weeks. 3 weeks. It's supposed to take 24 weeks, but it took him 3 weeks to get what he called a heroic dose of estrogen. Moving in 10 years later, he detransitioned after it happened. He realized when he woke up that this was wrong. It got to the point he couldn't even look at it. He didn't want to touch it. I don't want to get too graphic, but I mean, it healed up, right? It was not good. He was angry, bitter, upset. I have never seen. I saw someone who was so destroyed he couldn't even walk. It took him 20 minutes. In a 20-minute walk, it took him 3 hours with 2 walking sticks to get to my house where I was putting him up. And it took him 2 years to get a single shot of testosterone. 2 years, because none of these people who affirmed him wanted to deal with him afterwards.
That's the problem, isn't it?
The entire establishment turned its back on him. And a week and a half ago, 2 weeks now, he died of a heart attack. I assume a heart attack. What his son told me, that's the preliminary report from the coroner. So I've got to go to his funeral soon. And I'm going to speak to his son about this. So I think his story needs to be told. And you think that someone in their 40s to 50s who's gone through this, imagine happening to an 18-year-old. Well, you don't need to imagine, because recently as well, there was an 18-year-old who went in for bottom surgery. and there was complications, and they died.
They hadn't got. I won't go into details, but the gist is they didn't have enough tissue to create something,
Yep.
so they went somewhere else, and it went wrong, and the person that Lee is talking about died as a result. So
And I have to say that I don't want anyone to go and look for this. You don't want to, but there were pictures floating around of what it looked like, it was horrendous.
Yeah.
I've seen some of the pictures, and
I've seen the pictures.
Yeah, they're awful.
But you see, this is the thing. I know Lee is saying that nobody should see these pictures. I disagree. I think this is exactly what people need to see. I think people need to be shook up. I think they need to see the reality of what's actually happening here.
Yeah.
Because there's one thing that the trans activists never do, is they never talk about this side of it, right? This side of it is ignored, right? They don't talk about the lives that are ruined, right? The people that have these transitions, that have actually been brave enough to speak up, they treat them with contempt. They treat them with disgust. They basically bully them, right? And then all in the meanwhile, they're going around telling everybody that we're oppressing them and that we want to kill them.
And the worst thing is they actually, I mean, the TRAs and the TRAs and the whatever, all the people advocating say, oh, it's a tiny percentage, so like 1%, not even that. That's a lie. The reason why that's a lie is because they don't keep records of detransitioners. That is the truth. So we don't really know. But I tell you what, we're going to see the tip of the iceberg just now. Is going to get more and more and more until you cannot ignore it, because there will be tons more. This is not going away.
It's not.
I see a Nuremberg style trial coming down.
I agree with you, no, but you're right.
And
you know, like these things, you think these things are going to die out, but this is not going to die out anytime soon. But
this is the biggest scandal of our times. Yeah, absolutely.
I agree. It's a human rights violation as well on what they're doing. It's an absolute disgrace.
Well, what's happening is you get a bunch of kids who would probably just be autistic or grow up to be gay, who don't even have a chance to even understand what it is they're committing to. But because it's such a social contagion, and there was a study done as well, which showed that the large number of parents of these people, or these kids, have Munchausen syndrome by proxy. So it's like they have serious, like, mental health issues, like depression and other things going on, and a lot of these people are making these decisions or pushing this onto their children, and that can't really be ignored. And I think to say, oh, we can't look at that because it's transphobic is asinine, frankly, and it's incredibly dangerous. I mean, you cannot be held hostage to such a divisive, tortuous ideology, which is sterilizing gay kids, sterilizing autistic kids. I mean, Mengele would be absolutely in his element.
Yep.
And you can't ignore that. History doesn't look too kindly on experimentation on kids. And to say that these puberty blockers and things are reversible, no, they're not.
But the fact that they lied about that for years, though.
Any girl that goes through that, whenever they take testosterone, as soon as their voice breaks, that's it. It doesn't change back. Their genitalia atrophies. And that's the same with boys as well. You do not get that back. And you can lose sensitivity there. You will never have enjoyment in the fun stuff. You'd never have children, possibly. You know, it's
heartbreaking, man.
It's life-changing decisions at a time when you should be thinking about, I don't know, what shoes you might want to buy, or who do you think is the cutest in class. You know, that's really what decisions you should be making.
Look at every teenager. I was a teenager. You were a teenager. Chris was a teenager, and everybody in this chat was a teenager at one stage. There is, when you're growing up, especially when the hormones start, there is confusion there. There is. You
Can
know,
you imagine even at 16 making a life-altering decision at that age?
No.
I
No.
look at myself at 16 thinking I wouldn't trust me with anything
Yeah.
like that.
I was an idiot.
Yeah, same here. I was all same here. Listen, you cannot be making those life-altering decisions at 16. You know, we've even heard, like, over the years, these stupid articles from these activists trying to justify all of this, saying, well, babies know their gender.
No, they
You know,
don't.
you just can't tell us, and all of this sort of rubbish. And you know, look at the way they actually disrespect women. They call them what? What do they call them? Milk feeders or whatever it is, or some
Breastfeeders and
insulting word, and baby carriers
you
and
can't
all
even
of
say
this.
homosexual anymore.
No, that's illegal.
You
Now.
you have to say other things. You know.
Yeah, you're going to be locked up now. You're. This is the way it's going. This is why we need to speak up. It's not just the kids. It's people.
The LGB.
It's the yeah, exactly. Everybody, women. We need to speak up. I'm telling you, seriously. This is why I've been more vocal now, and I don't give a shit. That's why I changed my Twitter account from the Tarda Zone to just Noel Zone, because, as I said, I was going to get more into this, and I was going to start speaking up. And if you've seen the actual Twitter account now, you'll see there's a lot more of me speaking up, and I'll continue to do so until the end game is that these people that are responsible for what they've done are sent to prison. But you know what the problem's going to be? And this is why I say to all you trans activists out there, especially you guys in the Doctor Who community, when the shit does hit the fan, right? Because society is starting to wise up now. We're seeing it, right? Wising up now. You're the scapegoats. You're the patsies.
Yeah.
You're the ones that will
It's
get.
called useful idiots. The thing is, right, this isn't us attacking trans people,
No.
right? Trans people have every right to the same human rights as everyone else.
Mm-hmm.
Human dignity, not to be violently attacked or slurs used to get any of that stuff. I'm opposed to that. These people deserve every right to life and to live in peace without having harassment or violence. The same as everybody else. Absolutely. That is without any question. The thing is, it's the ideology that is imposed on them as well. A lot of trans people that I know personally are not on board with this. My friend that passed away was not on board with this. And it's incumbent upon that so-called community. I hate that word. But they have to start speaking out more. There are plenty of LGBT people speaking out. We are the last line of defense.
But look what happens, Lee, when you do speak out, though. You've received threats, right? Can you imagine what it's like for a trans person, though? Because we kind of have to look at it from their point of view. They went through all of that. They went through all of that, right? And then they don't like what's happening. But then they speak up, and then they're
true scum.
Yeah,
by these people. They get because they believe that they know that they're not going to change their sex. They want to live as they feel most comfortable, but they know that they are not what they are transitioning into. They know it's their gender dysphoria, but what the trans movement is trying to do is to remove the need to have that dysphoria that you can just identify into it at whim because you might feel like one that day. That's insulting to women. It's insulting to men. It's insulting to LGBT people. It's just not real. We've seen it in sports and all this kind of stuff as well. There's a whole plethora of things. However, these people who understand that this is a medical issue, it's a psychological issue based on their dysphoria, who are being hounded and harassed, especially detransitioners who work this stuff out as well, because they know that they are not magically changing over into I've been seeing things like that we're only a few years away from having womb
I saw that video, yeah.
Womb transplants.
Yeah.
the last time they tried to do that, the person who had that died. Right?
Yeah,
You can't have that, because the female biology is every cell in that body is involved in the production of the female zygote. You know, the process of making a baby. The whole body is involved. You can't use cross-sex hormones and shove a womb in and expect that to work the same way. The whole body has to be involved. You can't just magic that into existence. It won't work.
No. And now they're talking about these futuristic incubators as well. If they can't do it that way, the future is, it's something like out of the Matrix, where you're not born, or the Superman, where you're grown artificially, and then, like, you know, basically the elites and stuff like that. It's going down that route. If we don't, I'm serious, we do need to speak up. But Peter says he's with me all the way, and he also gave us an Australian $10 super chat and says they agree. And that's Peter from Australia. It's nice to see him in the chat again. He's been having you know, as you know, his mother, he's in a nursing home, and you know, he spoke about it. He spoke about it here. They're not very. They haven't been very good.
Out to your mum.
But yeah, but it's nice to see him again. But yeah, I mean, look, we've gone past the point now where it's not okay for people to stay silent anymore. People need to speak up. You're literally seeing women being assaulted every day now by these activists. They're calling to arms, right? They're threatening violence. And remember, as Lee has said, and everybody said, these are supposed to be the tolerant people.
What they use is, you know, they try and use emotional blackmail. Like, if you don't affirm kids, or if you don't affirm them, they're going to do something bad to themselves.
Yeah, that's the new thing that's coming out now.
That is not the numbers, the statistics do not back that up. Mm-hmm. The thing is, if you have that kind of ideation anyway, that's in there anyway. Mm-hmm. But the thing is, you need to work on the brain. That's where the problem lies. If you're feeling like that, if you're feeling out, you know, disconnected from your body, and you're feeling bad, negative thoughts about yourself, that's because it's in the mind, not the body. Yeah. The body isn't wrong. It's, you need to learn to accept and love your body for what it is.
Exactly.
It's cheaper.
Yeah, but not only that, the term, the phrase, the trans activists term the frame, frame the term, be your authentic self, but they're not in
by
reality.
Being somebody else. Yeah, no. That again, it's a fallacy. It's a complete fallacy. They'll say anything to justify. Listen, I'm not saying that people shouldn't be able to feel who they want to be, and to dress how they want, and to present how they want, but that's on you. You can't expect the rest of society to bend to your will. Mm-hmm. You can't expect people to participate in your self image. You can't expect people to deny the reality of their own eyes by coercion, or by force, or by laws, or any other means. It's a social contract. You have to have the consent. The massive issue here for me is one of consent. You need to be able to consent to that. I need to be able to consent to that. Now, Elon Musk said the other day that he saw the word cisgender as a slur. This is a big step. We've been saying this for years now. Mm-hmm. No one voted on this. No one agreed to this. This was imposed upon us by a tiny minority of activists without our consent. And that is important. Why are you demanding that we use your pronouns, but you refuse to listen to us when we say we don't want to be called cis?
Yep.
That's a double standard.
But that's the point. It is a double standard. And this is what they don't understand. This is why we actually speak up, but we see all the other stuff as well. I mean, look, it's getting ridiculous now, but we are getting to the point of no return, folks. So again, I would say to you, you know, I know some people out there, but that's what I mean. Yep. I think that look at the time of feeling like people are going to come after you and all that. you just have to push that to one side. What can they really do to you anyway? That's the way I look at it on Twitter now. People came after me after I did the stream, right? We even had people that claim that they don't stalking me, right? Hey, Billy. So I'm speaking up because I need to, because I'll regret it if I don't, and that's how I feel about
in
it.
the UK. In the UK, it went in through the courts where gender critical views were challenged, but the courts actually stuck up for free speech, and you can say no to this. You can say that is a man or that is a woman.
Mm-hmm.
You can by law, because that's freedom of speech, and you can't be compelled to participate in that lie if you don't feel comfortable with that.
Yeah, no, once you're not exactly. Once
You
you're
don't
not
have to be nasty.
exactly.
You don't have to
You
be.
know,
I mean, the thing is, you don't need to even try to be nasty, because they're usually nasty first. So then you can simply point out, well, you got patent male aggression going on there. I don't have a problem with being nasty in return. If I'm attacked, I will say something, but I don't necessarily think that I have to debase myself in this argument. But I will say, if you're going to bombard me or bombast me with patent lies or aggressive falsehoods, I'm going to push back on that. And I think it should be incumbent upon people to say, well, no, I don't think that I should be forced or compelled to participate in someone else's delusions. You can be polite. If they're polite, you can be polite back. If they're aggressive and nasty towards you, or say nasty things at you, or call you a Yahtzee or whatever they want to call you, you're well within your means and rights to actually defend yourself and turn it on them. Not that you want to get down and dirty in the mud with all this stuff, but I mean, don't feel that you can't say anything back, because that's not how this works, right? You're told when you're a kid, if a bully bullies you, you bully them back. I'm not saying you should bully people. I'm just saying you should not feel afraid to say no.
up. Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
Because that's the way we were before, and I think that's what's happened. The people are scared of speaking up, and I have to admit myself, after when I first came onto YouTube, 5 years ago, that was literally the first thing that I brought up 5 years ago, and I remember the video on YouTube was literally hit by everybody, because I said 5 years ago that I actually have no problem if you're a grown ass adult and you think you're born in the wrong body and you want to change gender. What I have a problem with is trying to force that ideology onto our kids. Now, I said that 5 years ago, and I got into a lot of trouble for that. And this is where I got called transphobic by Ben Cook, because I dared to speak.
I remember him.
Now, he got his mob because he retweeted me tweet. He got his mob to try and get me.
Well, that's what they do. Yeah.
Twitter account taken out because I dared to say that. But after that incident, I stopped talking, but I didn't bring it up for a while. I have mentioned a few things over the years, but I've never been this vocal because I was scared. I'm gonna be honest. I you know what I mean? I didn't know too much about it, to be quite honest as well. But it's been 5 years later. I've read a lot. I've seen a lot. I think I have a handle on it. I pretty much know what's going on, and it's time to speak up, and I think everybody should take the plunge and actually speak up against all of this, because if we don't, we will. I'm telling we will regret it. Remember, there's already a bunch of kids out there, right, whose lives are permanently
listen to what detransitioners are saying. Go and speak to trans people who are not on board with the ideology.
Yeah.
Go and actually listen to what they're saying. listen to the LGB people who are, basically being forced really by this umbrella LGBTQIA plus, whatever it is. It's like by guilt by association, if you see what I mean. We are being swept along against our wills. It's a hostage situation. That's how I describe it. There are plenty of us saying, no, we want, these are separate issues. The TQ plus want to make everything about gender. We're about sex in all forms, right? That's what it is. And with the gender thing, is that they're trying to redefine what homosexuality and heterosexuality is by saying it's homosexuality is same gender attraction. No, that's like saying basically a gay man should find another man sexually interesting, even if they have a vagina. It's like, no, that's not. That's like saying you haven't met the right girl yet.
Well, then you're
right?
straight.
It's the same old homophobia. It's the same old homophobia.
Yeah,
and it's funny how they go after the lesbians and the gay people with this stuff, but they hardly ever go after heterosexual people. No, I find that very interesting. They wouldn't dare because that's the vast majority. But they go after us because they think we're an easy target.
Yeah, but what they don't realise is that you guys have fought this fight before.
Oh, we've been there. We've been there before.
You've worn the T-shirt. You have fought this fight before.
They've even tried to insert themselves in the Holocaust. They've tried to insert themselves into the gay rights movement, saying that they were there and that we owe our rights to them, even though the T wasn't even added until 2000. And the Q, which they call the queer word, which I hate.
I don't even know if anybody knows what that means.
The Q originally meant questioning. So it was lesbian, gay, bisexual, questioning.
Oh, as in
that kind of makes sense.
Questioning your sexuality, is it?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And then somewhere along the line, the postmodernists got hold of this and turned it into the queer word. And then you get basically people who are biological women who call themselves gay men and they call themselves queer. And it's like, no, I got beaten up with that word ringing in my ears. I internal bleeding from being kicked and punched and spat on, hearing that word ringing in my skull. And these people who've never experienced a day once in their life of being physically assaulted to that degree, just LARPing with that word, calling themselves queer, when in fact they're just salty heterosexuals. Really?
Yeah. It is bad. Do you know what? Actually,
it is Munchausen.
I'm gonna end the stream with a video that I played on Twitter. I don't think I will get into trouble on YouTube. I don't know. Maybe I will. I don't know. Maybe I'll play.
YouTube hates us. Yeah, just do it.
Yeah,
anyway.
I'll play it backstage if you are there because you need to see this. It's a father, a husband, and he does a little video, and it's absolutely fantastic. And we'll get into that. But listen, folks, I don't really get into this stuff on this channel here because it's a very dodgy topic to talk about on YouTube. But if you do want to hear me talk about it a little bit more, I will be on Twitter doing regular streams actually on this. So Lee, you're more than welcome to come on anytime, mate, because this does directly affect you. And I'd like to get your perspectives on things when I show you different videos and clips and stuff like that. But I will be doing a lot more of that, folks. So, and I will be calling out people as well. I don't care. I called out Mr. You-know-who the other day as well because
king of the gay people.
Yeah, because he thinks that he can just go and start mounting about everybody, and I'm sick of him picking on my friends, right? So I wanted to show everybody, and I went through the whole lot of what he did a few years back, and I read out his whole statement, and I gave you my opinion. If you haven't seen that stream, please go and watch that one. That one's on Twitter as well. I've done a few on Twitter. Listen, as I said, yeah, on me Twitter page, the poor Daniel thought I snapped, right? He wrote on Twitter, I think Noel snapped. I haven't snapped. What it is I'm sick and tired of looking and seeing what I'm seeing, right? And remember, this is just one issue that we're dealing with in society, right? Is the gender ideology. We've also got all the other stuff that's going on. The imminent threat of World War III, all the social disorder that's going on in every country, and there's marches, protests happening everywhere. We are really, it is, someone said, I think it was Gary from Neurotics, so I think he said we're living in very interesting time. I think it was him. I'm not quite sure if it was, but someone said we're living in quite interesting times. That's one way of putting it, yeah. But we are really at a point seriously, we could destroy ourselves.
It's a crossroads. We're at a crossroads.
Yeah,
right,
we're at the crossroads now. But if we take a certain path, right? If we take the wrong path, it's the end of civilization as we know it.
Path of no return.
Right, and I'm being serious. That's how
you can't afford to give an inch at this point because everything is on the line.
Exactly,
and you once you give an inch to one thing, if you logically compromise yourself to one small thing, that will be exploited and that explodes. So you have to kind of be very concise and consistent at where you draw the line, because if you kind of give too much away, that will be exploited later on. So you have to be you have to be kind and considerate, but you have to also say no.
Don't give in.
If you do, that's when it gets exploited. So a lot of things about pronouns and things, but when it's clearly someone who's not even making any effort at all to show that they've transitioned, and
remember,
you say no.
Remember one thing, right? These people try to dehumanize us by using labels, right? Yeah. But here's the thing: if we choose to ignore those labels, right, and
well, they already have no power anymore.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Don't let those words, those labels, have any power over you. If you have the attitude that I have now, which I said on my Twitter page, which I'll give zero F's given now, right? The gloves are off, right? I don't care if people out there think I'm transphobic. I've made my position clear. If you're a grown-ass adult and you think you're born in the wrong body, and if you want to change gender, go ahead. I don't fully understand it, but go ahead and live your life the best.
You be you.
And be you. Yep. Right?
You be you.
The position is always been, though, leave the kids out of it. Yep. Don't be pushing this on kids, right? That does not make me transphobic.
None of this would have been an issue. None of this would have been an issue if it wasn't kids being involved and if it wasn't women being basically oppressed. Women wanted to go to this university to as a venue to watch a film about women, and even in the BBC, right? The BBC released an article saying that this was an anti-trans film. Twitter put a fact check on that.
I've seen that.
Check the BBC over that headline saying it wasn't an anti-trans film. It was a let women speak film. And you have to really consider that these activists who are violently opposed. I mean, we saw what happened to Posey Parker, the Kelly J. Keane in New Zealand. That was atrocious. Mm-hmm. Okay, I don't care. And then because some convenient guys dressed in black with no Yahtzee tattoos at all whatsoever turn up and do all the goose stepping and Zeke Kyle nonsense. Happened to appear in Australia at the same time they were there. That was enough for everyone to go, right, they're all the same thing. Clearly not.
No. It was two separate marches, actually, and that one was set up to confuse the actual people that were going to the Kelly Jean march.
And
So-
the Yahtzees, the so-called Yahtzees, who I just think probably, you know, dodgy anyway, but they released a statement said they had absolutely no truck at all with Kelly J. Keenan Herman because they supported lesbians. So that, I mean, it's complete nonsense. And anyone who just reads headlines is a moron. If you're not going to read the full article, shut up. Don't say that you suddenly know the entire issue. And then you had people like Katie Montgomery, the trans activist, saying that anyone who supports this, blah, 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 is a moron. I said, well, you know, you're the same person who posted that same-sex attraction was a right-wing dog whistle. How homophobic is that, for crying out loud? That's fine, apparently. So, you know, and anyway, these women who went to watch this film were prevented from accessing that university to watch the film because a bunch of activists turned up and forced them out. That was not okay. This is not okay. You can't claim that they're the fascists when you're doing the fascism. End of story. It really drives me mad. And women are, you know, really at the brunt of this more than anyone else, I think. And it's important that, you know, you can't just erase over 50% of the population at the stroke of a pen.
Well,
It's
Lee
ridiculous.
says women are at the brunt of this, right? So I'm going to show you. So I'm going to end with this. Well, not end with this video. I'll put this video up first, and I'll let the two lads, if they want to comment on it, and then we'll wrap it up because I know Chris has to go. Sky is being a bit loopy. So I'll play this right now. I'll give you context to this video. There was a video put up on Twitter of a guy who identified as a trans woman, and this is in a high school, and apparently he beat up, well, he didn't apparently beat up, we saw the video, he beat up a couple of women because he wasn't allowed access to their bathrooms. Well, another video has surfaced of them now. Now the college has got involved now, and apparently there's going to be a meeting after this video surfaced where he attacked two female students yet again. Now, when you see this video, you'll see the first girl, she gave as good as she got, God love her. The second girl in this video is not so lucky. So what you're about to see here is and I'll probably get demonetized for this, but you know what?
Well, put a warning.
Just this video. This stream will probably be demonetized, but you know what? For this, it's actually worth it because this is what you need to see, right, folks? And this is why you need to wake up. So I won't play the sound because you won't need the sound. I'll just pour it down a little bit, right? So I'm gonna play this. It's being watched 88,000 times. Right, 88,000 viewers. So here we go.
The more they act out like this, the more people are going to peak. So I don't know what they're thinking. If they're thinking this is going to win people around to their cause,
exactly, it's not. Well, it isn't, and that's the thing. It's not going to help. Now, this is 37 seconds. As I said, just a little bit of a warning. It does involve physical violence. As I said, I probably will get this stream demonetized for it, but it's worth it, in my opinion, because that's how strongly I feel about this whole issue, and it needs to be highlighted. So here we go. So that's supposed to be a woman there, right?
That's a man.
Right, so there's the second girl. She is unfortunately she's not as lucky, and then he's
male pattern aggression. That is male pattern aggression. Women do not fight like that. I mean, women can be vicious when fighting, but the thing is, with that kind of punching, that upper body strength, after a male puberty, that can seriously damage a girl or
Well, it already happened in the world of mixed martial arts,
Yep.
where a a
Broke someone's
biological
skull.
male,
Broke the girl's
identified as a woman, broke two opponents' skulls, female opponents, and then in the third fight, apparently, then we were led to believe that a biological female actually beat him in a fight. You could clearly see in the third fight that he was probably told to hold back.
Now look at that. Look at that person there. Are you seriously telling me that entering into a girl's bathroom, a girl's toilets, isn't going to intimidate girls?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Now girls are very, very sensitive about, especially at that age, are very sensitive about their bodies. They're very sensitive about having periods. They don't want a man next to them in the stalls whilst they're having a period, particularly. They don't want to feel intimidated by a biological man entering their space with only one exit. You don't know what those girls have gone through. They could have gone through any kinds of trauma or abuse from men. You just do not know. There was an incident where there was a girl in the UK who got thrown out of school because she kicked off about a male in because I had a mixed sex toilet, so it was
unisex.
Unisex. She was saying that she was like didn't want to go to the toilet anymore, so she was getting bladder problems. She didn't want to go in there when she had a period, so she had all those problems because boys would go in there and look over the stalls or try and open the doors and laugh at them, and the school did nothing, but they kicked her out. I mean, it's insane. And the teachers, of course, don't have unisex toilets, or at least they don't have kids going into their toilets because their toilets were teachers who are adults and not going to do that kind of thing, but kids will. So I mean, it's unconscionable, and the fact that this social engineering is happening to kids is wrong, full stop, because they have no voice, right? They are too scared. They don't have the tools to say no necessarily. Some do, but you see what happens. It's unconscionable. It's wrong, and they are more vulnerable because girls are physically less stronger than boys, particularly after puberty. And that guy was towering over those two girls, and he managed to take both of them down, or at least one of them, easily, and did serious damage by the looks of it. That was not holding back. That was male.
He took the second one down, but the first girl, fair play to her. You don't like to see it, but she bloody did hold her own, and she deserves a bloody medal, man. But the second girl was unfortunate. But you're right, both of them. That upper body strength.
If he identifies as a girl, he had absolutely shown no effort, even. I mean, apart from being physically violent, and even have to say, like, if girls take testosterone, they become violent. If boys take estrogen, they become violent because it's cross-sex hormones. Just because you're taking an influx of female estrogen into your male body, it's still causing conflict in your body. It's still causing you to have violent episodes. It can happen. I would say it does always happen, but that's the thing. It destabilizes the natural body. That happens. So the fact that he couldn't even dress, I mean, you see that going into a girl's toilet. A girl in the bathroom is going to come out of the stalls and see him coming in dressed like that. They're going to think that's a man, because it is a man. I don't care what pronouns you use or what you identify as, you are a man. And by going into that space, you're denying them the right to their own space, their own sovereign space, and their own sex. That's their sex. You can't just claim it as your own. And then it's physically assault them when they say no. That's the reason why they say no, because they don't want to have someone in there who could physically assault them. And he's proven right there. That's the reason why they don't belong in women's spaces, because they are violent. They will violently attack you because they feel.
But you notice,
they have the
Lee, the
right.
media. But you notice, though, right? The media are also complicit here because they're
Yes.
not highlighting. They're not highlighting this. They're only showing, like, you know, as they call.
Well, they're
call
captured by
everybody
Stonewall.
far
They-
right. They show
they're
the far right.
They're captured by Stonewall, Mermaids, and all these other organizations. We've seen it. You know, the BBC did an expose on itself, didn't they?
Yeah.
With, which I give them fair dues for doing. But the fact that we got to this point in the first place, you've got Stonewall in there, you've got Pride UK controlling the content of the BBC, including the news. Now, the news should be the news, right? Not cherry picking what you fancy. And even now, as I said, you know, Twitter had to fact check the BBC for saying that the film that these women wanted to go and see was an anti-trans film. It wasn't. It was a film about women. It's absolutely 1984 levels of newspeak. It really is.
Yeah. Well, look, we could continue this all night because it is obviously it is what it is.
Oh no, I'll. I think if you guys want to go on, I've got to head out.
Oh no, so we're gone 3 hours.
We're
gone 3 hours. We've done air 3 hours, so we've actually covered a lot tonight. So yeah, I mean, I'll be doing more of these streams on Twitter. So, you know, if you're not following me on Twitter, get your ass over there. It's at Noel Zone. And what you call it, as I said, I do read out, if you actually go into the comment section while the stream is up, and if you make a comment, because I can use my phone, I will read the comments out, you know what I mean? So take part, because I will read the comments out and I will try to interact with you. But we're going to wrap it up there tonight because obviously I'm a little bit tired as well, actually, I have to say. I cooked a lovely dinner today. Still on that Hello Fresh. I've actually lost 8 pounds, guys. Yeah. So I'm pretty chuffed.
Well, I had fish and chips, so screw you.
Oh no, don't get me wrong, Lee. I have to admit, I miss me fucking fish and chips, but you know what? It'll be worth it because, you know, staying healthy is the most
Fish Friday.
thing. So yeah, I know. Well, I'll work my way around that somehow. You know, us men, we're very clever.
Well, you know, if you get a fish and chips, all you need to do is take off the you know, the batter and just
well, it's still fried and bleeding oil, so it doesn't make
no, it protects it. The fish is protected because of the batter. So
right.
But I must bid you just I can't leave her in there any longer.
Right. But give your shout outs. Give your shout outs before you go, because we're wrapping up anyway. But give your shout outs.
Okay. Let's see. I've got my Twitter account. My fun account is horror_fan1978. My dumpster fire account is at Bulls Trek. I'm uploading videos again, hoping to get one out on Star Trek Picard this weekend. YouTube at Bulls Trek. For some reason, I'm also now uploading to Rumble, so I've got a Rumble account now too. Finally, it's like my 30th alternate profile. And I'm gonna have to run away just because I gotta go take care of it.
Thanks for coming on.
Thanks, Lee, Noel, and take care all. And I shall see you all soon.
Take care.
See you next week.
Bye.
Anyway, that leaves me and Lee. But look, as I said, we could go on about this all night, but I don't want to because, you know, as I said, we want to leave that for Twitter because that's where the fight is actually happening. It's not really happening on YouTube. Well, it probably is happening on YouTube, but it's not a good idea to do it on YouTube because, you know, unlike Twitter, YouTube isn't for free speech. You know what I mean? And I'm glad. And Lee said it as well earlier on, you know, the fact that Elon Musk has made his position clear is a step in the right direction. Now, I would like him to go one step further and start banning flags for being used on the app for the
and
simple
to
reason is,
and to stand by what he said.
yes, exactly.
Cis is a slur. If anyone uses it, they should be treated like any other slur word, and
Exactly.
that should go for the Q word as well. In my
I
opinion.
agree with you, but see, here's the thing as well, though. I went in to check, right, to see if he actually was standing by what he said, but there is still no rule put up that it is a slur. So he needs to change that. He's making changes to Twitter, but he does need to make it permanent. But I do agree it's a step in the right direction, and I think because he's come out and made his position clear, a lot of other people also have been starting to speak up, which I think it's great to see. But we have to keep this going, and we have to keep talking about it. And again, I'm considering about Rumble. I'm not 100% sure. I did say that the app was shy, so if I go on it, I'm a bit of a hypocrite. But everybody that is using it actually is telling me good things and telling me that the audience views as well is actually quite good. And
well, the more people who use it, the more improvements they can make. So
that's what I mean. So I mean, maybe it would be a good idea. I might put up a poll on Twitter, and if you vote, I might ask you if you would like to see me on Rumble, because I'm not going to do this unless people are behind me, because I don't want to waste my time putting
but you can
videos up.
simulcast, can't you? And upload to both.
Yeah, but what I want to do is I want to use Rumble, if I'm going to use Rumble, to do the type of streams that we wouldn't be able to do on YouTube, and the topics that we've covered tonight, and go into greater detail and show more footage and stuff. We can't do that on YouTube. So that's what I'd be using Rumble for. So I'll put up a poll for 7 days, get voting, let me know if you would like me to set up, and if you are behind it, then I will do it. And then I'll put up my first stream then as soon as I set it up and stuff like that. And I'll do you know what I'll do? It's only right that I bring Lee on for the first stream that we do on Rumble. So that'll be something to look forward to. So I'll put the poll up after this stream and let me know. But you can catch me here back on Monday on this chat on YouTube. I might do a stream, as I said, on Twitter the weekend, because there's always something to talk about on Twitter now, because it's such a cesspool. Don't anybody go onto Twitter and listen to India Willoughby murder and butcher.
Oh
John
God!
Lennon's Imagine. But you know what?
I hate that song anyway.
But you know what was so funny is when James Dreyfus fucking did his version.
I know, that was great.
Because he hasn't got a note in his head. But then someone took that video and says, James, I improved your voice and it's an opera singer. And it's like, it was brilliant.
There was one where they put the two
together.
Yeah, that was great.
Yeah, that's a funny one as well.
It was so awful, it was funny.
Yeah. But there's some, seriously, you are missing some of the shittery that goes on Twitter. Some of it's so bleeding cringe. It's just so funny. But as I said, back here Monday for New Who Zone, and then during the week for the rest of the streams, as you know, and I'll be doing regular streams on Twitter. And of course, if you want me to go on Rumble, then I'll move the streams to Rumble. Well, I won't move them all to Rumble. I'll still stream on Rumble and Twitter at the same time instead of YouTube, because YouTube, get your act together anyway. But that's me done. So I'll let Lee do his shout outs and so.
Well, I'm deactivated on Twitter at the moment because I want to take some time off yet. But when I am back, it will be at The Problem Being, assuming I don't get cancelled between now and I don't really have anything to promote at the moment, so I haven't done bugger all. So yeah, I guess catch me here next time I'm here. I guess I will be doing the Brown Alliance end of week musings probably again on Sunday at 9 UK time. So go and check out that channel and see what we're doing there. Yeah, that's it really.
Right. Well, yeah, I heard Matt Walsh got demonetized. Yeah, I saw that. But anyway, that's what happens. I wouldn't be surprised if this stream only gets demonetized because YouTube are quite. It won't be because of anybody. It's YouTube's algorithm. It's weird. I don't know what they have. They must have some AI or some bot. You know, when you speak and you say certain words, then it just like, you know, they latch onto it, and then. But that's the problem that we're facing. A lot of these, it's just the media, social media. You
Well,
know,
it's fascism.
yeah,
It's corporate power acting as state
Yeah.
power. You know, it is 1984. It's very controlling. It's very Orwellian. Why are these people afraid to allow people to speak their minds? It's so controlling and so insidious the way that they do that you can't say what's patently true. Why are you controlling speech? There are laws already in America. There are laws already in Britain. There are laws already around the world about what can and cannot be said. I don't think it's down to corporations to decide what people can or cannot say. I think that's ridiculous.
Exactly. Anyway, we'll leave it there. I hope you have enjoyed tonight. As I said, we don't normally talk about
Thank you,
this
Chris.
stuff on the channel,
Thank you,
but
Petey.
I think it needed to be. I think it needed to be said, because you know we got to rally everybody to speak up, because you know if we don't, we will regret it, and it's already gone too far. So this lunacy has to stop. So you know we are, you know, throughout our history, there has been causes and fights throughout our history. If our generation sit back and do nothing, history will not look too kindly upon us.
It's now or never.
Yeah, but I'm being serious. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to be over dramatic, but we are at the guys. It is that bad. I mean, it is. So I mean, you know, we won't be looked kindly upon, because there's some in our generation that are facilitating this as well. You know, and we've got to start speaking up. You know, as we said, we're not being. I don't want the trans people out there thinking that we're attacking them. We're not. We just want kids to be left alone. Simple as that. And women to be free to use their own bathrooms. And I came up with solutions, by the way, to this whole. I'm no expert, right? They're talking about being excluded from sports. You know, you could set up a sports body for trans athletes. And
Yeah,
you
but
could
the
have.
thing is, they don't want that.
I know.
The irony is, right? You know, they complain about transphobia left, right, and center, but the point is, when they don't themselves want to identify as trans, they don't want to have a separate thing. You know, they want it to be women or men, which is very binary, by the way. But that's very telling, isn't it? They don't want to feel treated differently, even though they are, and they have an advantage over women. You don't see trans men competing against men in athletics.
Well, this is what I said, because it's very interesting that you brought it up. So 9 hours ago, this is what I wrote up on Twitter, because you obviously had a trans athlete coming out saying how it was unfair.
The irony,
right? Brittany, Green.
well, it's not fair on women.
Yeah. Right. So so they said on exclusion of transgender men in women's sports. I think it's a crime, honestly, to separate someone for any reason. This is what I wrote. It's not why Hold on. See, my writing on Twitter sometimes is very bad. It's not. Why not hold transgender events and compete against other trans women? I tell you why. You won't have an advantage against other trans women. Wake up, people. These men want to dominate women's sport, and that's exactly what it is.
They were average men, and then they want to become super women.
Yeah, because think about it logically, if they went up against other trans athletes, right? Other trans women,
that would be fair.
then that would be fair, and that's what I suggested. You know, they could do that, but they don't want that.
They don't want it because they say that they are real women. That's the problem. And I find it very interesting. Well, why you keep calling people transphobic if you're a real woman? If you're a real woman, you're not trans. So I mean, like, follow the logic, okay? But the thing is, they had male puberty, and even if they didn't have a male puberty and they were put on hormone, black, all the rest of it, there's still advantages in the frame of the body. They will still have certain like hip width, for example, is still going to be male, so you can run faster. So there's all, you know, even with those changes, and again, then you're sort of going into children being experimented on in this way. It just become athletes in the opposite sex categories. No. It's such a can of worms, okay? And this is why I said you can't give an inch, because once you do, everything becomes exploitable and can be prized open, and down the line this rears its head again. You've got to be concise about this. I think the only solution is to have a separate trans category or a certain trans events or whatever. Fine, but you can't do that if you're facing people who say they are real women or real men rather than trans women and trans men. See, that's the key. You can't allow that. You have to accept that you are trans, and that does separate you. You might not like that, but that's the reality, and it's not fair on women, and it's not fair on men either, because men want to compete with other men. They don't want to compete with women who say that they're men and then share the locker space or whatever as well, and feel awkward, and they might feel that they might feel bad, that they might run slower or something to not make them feel bad. Also, psychological as well as biological. There's all sorts of things. So it needs to have a separate category or something else. But of course, trans people should be allowed to participate in sports, same as everything else. But you have to be fair, and you have to compromise. And the things that don't want compromise, but you have to. Simple as that. That's it.
Right, he's right though. But look, I'm glad you all popped in tonight to hear this, really, because as I said, it needed to be said, and we need to speak up. But I have put that Twitter poll in the chat there. So if you're on Twitter anyway, and be honest, just vote. It's just a simple yes or no. And if you say no, that's fine. I'm pretty sure the other side will get a hold of it. So make sure you do vote, and make sure you RT.
He'll probably do it anyway.
No, because look,
don't make it binding. Don't commit yourself.
Because that's the thing. Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Because then it's YouTube, and then it's Rumble, and then I'd have to do different videos. Because me, Lee, I wouldn't be able to. I couldn't do the same videos on YouTube and then throw them up. I think that's it.
That's fine. Look, it's just a different platform, but
I get you, but I would have to do something new and fresh on it.
Yeah, but that's what you're doing it for. Yeah. So you put all your usual YouTube content on there as well, but then you've got additional extra stuff that the Rumble audience will get. So
Yeah.
that's the selling point. You know, you're not
Right,
just-
we've already got 4 votes.
Yeah.
So 75% yes and 25% no. So someone has said no.
Come on, who are you?
Yeah, come on,
Go
reveal
on.
yourself. We're only messing. We're
Reveal
only messing.
yourself.
But look, listen, thanks for joining us. Really appreciate it. I want to thank my co-hosts Lee and Chris for joining me tonight, and everybody in the chat, our head mod, PD and Chris, looking after the chat for everybody. Nice to see Peter. Thank you for the super chat as well. And we will
PD
talk
Rich
to you
is
all.
the main. Chris is the main.
No, yeah, that's what I meant. I just said that listen, I've been making mistakes all day.
You're 3 hours and 20 minutes in. Shut up and get off.
Exactly. That's what I mean. Our head mod Chris and PD Rich putting up the links as well, along with our no, I'm kidding. I voted yes. Okay. It was me. Oh, yeah, right. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
You
Just,
bloody
I
turncoat.
know they're evil, haven't they, Lee? They're upsetting me now. Right.
Nice.
Anyway, we're off. See you next week. Have a good weekend, folks.
Ta-da.
And I'll talk to some of you on Twitter. Bye-bye.
Bye.